Whoa, welcome one and all. Welcome one and all. It's July 30th, Friday evening again, usual hangout out here in YouTube land. And by the way, my name is JM Cruz, and this is Say That on Podcast. I think we're also at episode 9 of the Zero Hour discussions, and the usual crew isn't here, so I had to invite a very, very inspiring person here on her podcast. So let's go ahead and welcome Miss Carla Bulado of the Million Peso Podcast. Good evening, Carla.
Good evening, JM. Thank you for having me
hmm
here.
No, pleasure is all mine. So yeah, as I mentioned a while ago, you're probably one of the more inspiring content creators here, based on the path that you're going through, as far as content making is concerned. So maraming taong hindi ganon kabihasa, or at least not even literate pagdating sa finances. And let's take a while and discuss siguro, or at least on your end, what do you actually do in your podcast?
Okay. So, the Million Peso podcast started, it was an idea na pumasok sa isip ko when I hit my first million during pandemic. So, I'm the kind of person na, like, a few years ago, I thought it was impossible for me to reach it at a young age kasi I had so many limiting beliefs. And yun nga, I was surrounded by people with meron ding mga limiting beliefs. So, all this time, akala ko yun yun. And then, when I reached my first million in December last year, doon na parang na-realize ko na siguro kung mas na-expose ako sa conversations about money, na-expose ako sa conversations about success, having the right mindset, growth, and stuff like that, siguro mas maagang nawala yung mga limiting beliefs sa utak ko and mas naging braver ako. I mean, mas naging brave ako pag take ng risks and, stuff like that. So, naisip ko, hindi lang ako siguro yung may gano'n na pakiramdam. Hindi lang ako may pinagdaanan na gano'n. So, I used that idea na, okay, I'll try to invite guests how they made their first million kasi regardless kung saan ka galing, regardless of kung anong age mo, regardless kung anong educational attainment mo, it is possible for anyone, and that's a limiting belief na one of my missions with a podcast. So yeah, that's the Million Peso podcast.
Yeah, it really sounds very inspiring. Medyo speechless ako because as we all know, the setting and or at least the scenario na meron tayo ngayon, one of the hardest things to do is to create income, lalo na itong
Yeah.
panahon na to. And for you to actually reach a million pesos, or your first million peso, um, that's already a landmark achievement in itself. So maraming katulad namin na parang living day to day, hand to hand, sabi nga, hand to mouth, uh, ang hirap talaga. Before we dive in, siguro magda-dive in na tayo in the movies, guys, in a few. So I'd like to welcome whoever's going to watch this later or malilate pa lang panoorin. But yeah, let me just ask you. I-reserve ko dapat to dun sa last part. Probably split it up.
Okay.
Some questions kayo and then mamaya dun sa dulo after we discuss the movie, because maraming applications ng movie na to in real life. As
Mm.
far as I've seen it, and I know you just recently watch it again. Katulad ko din ako kanina lang, so medyo fresh pa. So, uh, what exactly was your plan on getting that first million? Did you write everything down, do the notes na parang, this is the path that I want to go with, this is my plan for reaching this goal, or talagang may swerteng kasama yung pag-achieve mo nun, first million mo?
Wala sa plano ko last year to reach my first million. Yung mindset ko talaga this time last year was totally different sa mindset ko ngayon. I quit my corporate job with just enough emergency funds para maglast for a
Mm.
couple of months. I mean, yung COVID, yung pandemic, it has taken a toll on me. Hindi ko kinaya yung work from home, all the shift, all the changes that happened. Nag-quit ako with just enough emergency funds. And then doon ako nag-try ng so many different things. I tried freelancing, try ako mag-e-commerce, try ako mag-affiliate marketing. I tried so many things talaga during the time na wala na ako sa corporate world. Sabi ko, need ko lang ng, ang sinulat ko sa notebook ko is I need just 30,000 a month
Mm.
to survive para sa sarili ko, para sa family ko. I just need that. Pero as I try new things, as I learn to apply these things na parang nagsama-sama siya. And October last year, I learned about yung print on demand, which I talked about my pilot episode. And yung mga natutunan ko nung mga kaka-resign ko lang, like Facebook advertising, like basic graphic design, nag-snowball effect siya, nagpatong-patong. And then yun na, I did not expect to reach the first million last year. Ang plano ko talaga noon parang save and invest, save and invest, save and invest for at least a decade bago ko ma-reach yun and retire pag eventually. Yun, that was the plan. It was wala sa so luck din siguro. Sabi mo nga, but luck plays a huge role. But yun nga, sabi ng mentor ko, it's about having the right timing plays a huge role, but also presenting yourself to opportunity. Timing and present yourself to opportunity. Yun. Parang it's not all about na parang maglaland na lang sa'yo na, oy, sinuwerte ka, ito yung 1,000,000.
Mm.
Hindi. Kasi kung di mo ipe-present yung sarili mo sa different kind of opportunities, walang darating, unfortunately.
Yeah, there's no what do you call this? There's no opportunities that will come to you in a silver platter talaga, as opposed to what people would imagine, or at least
Exactly.
ang tawag doon, term na yun, yung parang suntok sa buwan or gusto ko
Mm.
manalo ng sa loto. Sorry pero again, sorry but not sorry pero tamad yung mga taong ganun.
Yeah.
um, I I think you would agree that when we talk about finances talaga, we're talking way beyond just money. It's not,
Mm.
kung tutuusin, hindi pera talaga ang mindset sa finances. If you're going to look at it na parang papasok ako sa isang networking, sabihin natin, then I'm going
Mm.
to isipin ko na parang kikita ako ng ano dito, 500,000 a month. Kung
Mm.
ganun. Which is fairly unachievable. And then you're not putting the work into it. You don't have the skills going in. Paano mo makukuha yung ganun? And what really helps talaga in ako lang you could pitch in or you could rebut
Mm.
kung may nakita ka mali because you've been there, you're there na, may 1,000,000 ka na ako wala pa. What really helps kasi is you surround your people with the same attitude. Yun yung number one for me pagdating sa ganun. And being with high performance people, ano ka yan may not just influence you to do better, you will be put in a scenario na parang bakit sila na-achieve nila yung
Mm.
ganun and then ako, nandito pa ako
Exactly.
hanggang ngayon.
Kung kaya
Um,
nila,
mm,
bakit hindi ko
kaya mo
kaya?
din.
'Di
I
ba?
mean, some things na hindi mo talaga kakayanin.
Yeah, may
We have,
factors na
ikaw ba,
magpa-play.
anong sa tingin mo nung ginagawa mo to yung tikinahin mo tapos sabi, hindi ko talaga kaya. Was there any instance na may ginawa ka na parang, no, ayoko na. Hindi ko kakayanin talaga at this time. At this time, hindi ko kakayanin.
There are a lot of times. Talaga na parang, ano ba 'tong pinasok ko? Tama na, tigil na kaya ako. Kaya what really helped me is having the initiative to join communities. Having the initiative to reach out to people na nakarating na dun sa point na yun. As in, kinapalan ko talaga yung mukha ko. I ask
Mm.
questions. Parang, hi, you don't know me, pero I saw you, ganito, ganyan. Parang, anong strategy yung parang ginawa mo, what worked for you, ganyan. And I joined really communities, different Facebook communities. Yun yung maganda sa time ngayon. As in, there are like tons of communities na you could join to. Like, kung interested ka about e-commerce, there are several groups about that. And you can see like success stories, wins of other people. And makikita mo, posible kaya yun. And nandun usually may mga stories sila kung paano nila na-achieve yun. And by just looking at those stories, makikita mo, okay, this worked for them. I'll try it nga sa akin kung mag-work. And then, just trial and error, trial and error. Pag may roadblock, pivot ka lang. Tapos pag di mo na talaga kaya, you reach out to someone, you reach out to expert. Yun. So, tama. I really agree with what you said earlier na surrounding yourself with high-achieving people, surrounding yourself with the
Mm.
people na you want to become. Kasi it lifts you up eh. It changes the way you look at life. It changes your psychological wallet. Changes
Mm.
your mindset in general. So, oo, hindi talaga siya, I mean, talking about finances, sobrang ironic kasi it's not all about the money. I mean, it's really the mindset. I mean, the more value na binigay mo sa mundo, the higher na pera makukuha mo. Yun siya.
Okay, meron na akong pwedeng i-cut dito sa pinag-usapan natin. Ipopost ko solo content. Kasi honestly, yung sinabi mong ganun, yung first first na pinag-usapan natin part na yun. These were stuff na I was just hearing people talking about. Yung medyo down ako before. Kasi we have to admit din na parang lahat tayo at a point, we could only change either to inspiration or desperation. I'm
Mm.
not sure if you agree. Um, the time na desperate ka talaga, desperate for change, talaga maghahanap ka ng maghahanap ka ng ibang taong kakausapin or research people online. Swerte tayo, yung generation natin, dahil spoon-fed tayo ng information.
Nakahain
Pero
na.
sometimes though, parang, do we have too much information yun?
Mm.
One of the questions na tinatanong ko sometimes I guess, especially yung mga highly intelligent people like yun na, do we have too much information right now na parang naka-cloud na yung judgment natin kung sino dapat natin sundan or kung ano yung dapat natin i-implement sa mga natutunan natin. I'm not sure ikaw, sa tingin mo.
Ako, personally, I don't look at it na parang there's too much information right now. Kasi the way I consume content, I'm very selective kung sinong pinapakinggan ko. Kasi
Taking
the
the
more,
good, throw out the bad. Yeah.
yeah, kasi the more na parang ifa-follow ko ifa-follow ko ng maraming tao, mas maraming parang opinion yung papasok sa utak ko and parang magugulo lang yung mindset ko. So, I research people. Let's say magdi-discover ako about certain aspect of my life. Siyempre, andun yung part na magdi-discover kasi sino ba yung mga tao na sa tingin mo, magre-resonate with you. Malaking part din kasi na yung taong fina-follow mo resonates with your own values. Kasi we all have different values eh. But having to finding someone na resonates with what you believe, resonates with yung parang values mo in life, that's
Mm.
someone na parang you can listen to. Kasi, ito, parang parehas kami, we are in alignment sa beliefs namin sa buhay. And dun, kaya ako masabi na parang we don't have like too much information. Kasi we all have different values and you can follow
Mm.
people na align sa values mo. And it's really up to you if you would drown yourself with information. Kasi you don't have to. You can consume content wisely and moderately.
I think that also comes with the mindset and discipline na meron yung tao.
Mm.
Kasi too much accessibilities pagdating sa information. Sometimes it's very detrimental sa utak.
Yeah.
If you would compare yung mga millionaires, sabihin natin, nung 1970s, paano nila nagawa? Paano nila na-achieve yung ganun? And sobrang liit na network nila kung tutusin kumpara sa atin ngayon. I mean, a simple person na may kilala talaga in
Mm-hmm.
Facebook, na may, sabihin natin, 5,000 friends ka,
Yeah.
probably 100 or 200 doon kilala mo in person
Mm-hmm.
and connected ka. As opposed na before na parang tipong, saka mo lang makikita yung tao, it's either katrabaho mo, kapamilya mo, or na-meet mo in a convention. So, yung networking nun or word of mouth talaga ang ginagamit nila. Referral,
Mhm.
uso pa yung panahon na nagre-refer ka ng tao through word of mouth. Ngayon, parang may email ako nito, email ko na lang siya.
Yeah,
May Facebook
ilulup mo
ako
na.
to, message ko na lang siya. Gusto ko malaman ng ganito. Pero it's really up to that person na may message mo kung magre-reply pa rin. Parang yung options nila mas marami talaga ngayon
Yeah.
compared to
Pero,
before.
siguro yung millionaire, I think one similarity, like yung millionaires like decades ago and millionaires ngayon, they produce more than they consume. Kasi ngayon, yes, there are a lot of outlet, there are a lot of content that you can consume
Mm.
compared to 3 decades ago or 4 decades ago. But still, may media pa rin at that time. There are a lot of people who sits in front of their TV after their work. Unlike the, quote unquote successful people na they used their extra time to produce, maybe put up their own physical store and I don't know, create
Mm.
stuff, write books, create music, produce more than they consume. Yun yung parang simple way talaga how millionaires does it.
May kilala akong billionaire na ano, tawag dito, na he consumes more than he produces at some point.
Really?
Mamaya ako ipapakita pag latter half. Pag
I'm
ano
super
na to,
interested.
yung time na ano na, recommendations time na kasi because after any movie na ano, lagi may recommendations I guess. So, yeah. 3 people dito ngayon. Thanks again for joining us. We hope that this talk would be a bit more informative than usual. I'd like to introduce my guest again, Miss Carla, that of the Million Dollar Podcast. I'm going to give the links later to her page. And oh, good evening. It's my girlfriend. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. Um, So yeah, let's go ahead and dive in the movie. What we're going to discuss right now is probably one of the most inspiring movies as far as financial status is concerned. Also, ito yata yung pinakaunang movie na magkasama yung magtatay, I think. Si
Parang.
Will Smith, di ba? Si Will Smith and also Jaden. Uh,
Mm.
it's entitled The Pursuit of Happyness, and I think this was around 2006. So the movie revolves around Chris Gardner, which is maano siya, blue collared person siya, may asawa and also may anak. And he basically lost it all because based sa movie due to bad investment.
Mm.
Bad investment ng bone conducting machine. Nakala niya back at that time they would be able to produce. So, sinabi mo, produce more than consume kasi bebenta nila yon.
Mm.
Dami nilang binili.
Yeah,
And then yung ROI halos wala. Doon ako
wala.
natawa nung una eh. Halos wala. Bigay, may ganun kasi nangyayari. I could call them out as a pyramid. Pyramid is something. Ganun yung nangyayari. So, once Chris actually bought around 30 of these things, akala nila na mag-asawa na we're going to live the big life.
Mm.
Bumili sila ng bahay, I think, or nag-rent. Nag-rent sila ng bahay.
Yeah.
And they were living out of their means pagdating sa
Mm.
income nila. Ikaw, Arla, nung pinanood mo to the first time, kung maalala mo pa, this is a very long while na itong movie na to. Parang nakakatawa siya isipin na very long while na, no? 2006 na. Uh, how did
14.
it strike, di ba? Parang kailan lang. How did it strike you when you first watched it, if you could still remember? And then how, when you reviewed it again, ano yung nakita mong pagkakaiba?
Alam mo, nung una ko siyang pinanood, ang parang highlights lang sa utak ko. Sige, syempre years ago. Ang nag-highlight lang sa utak ko is nung nasa internship na siya and paano niya, parang siya talaga di na halos natutulog para mag-aral for the internship, for the exam, para ma-choose siya sa stock brokerage firm. And yung difference niya ngayon, nung pinanood ko siya kanina is, I noticed parang ano yung mga somehow wrong business decisions na ginawa niya. And I think that's one thing na parang, like when we read books, parang parang mas tumatatak sa atin kung ano yung nag-a-apply sa buhay natin at this present time. So when we read something or when we rewatch something, mas nagsa-struck yung mas nag-a-apply sa buhay natin ngayon. And yun yung napansin ko. The Pursuit of Happiness, ang tumatak siya when I first watched it is when, someone wants to become a stockbroker and he became a stockbroker. Ngayon, parang I have a better understanding na is a businessman who failed kasi hindi siya, um, I think hindi siya nag-market research. If we're gonna use the business terms, there's lack of market research, there's no
Yeah.
demand. Obviously, there's low demand and hindi niya kinonsider yon before purchasing a lot of products in which is initially pa lang, parang wrong decision na. So, pero the way he parang pivot, the way he parang tried to survive amidst parang amidst the failure. Na as in, walang-wala na talaga. Wala ng kotse, wala ng bahay, nakikitulog na lang. Even sa public restroom. Hanggang sa,
Mhm.
ang ganda, ang ganda. Nag-goosebumps tuloy ako ngayon. I really like the film.
Mm. Ako, siguro, if I ask myself the same question,
Mhm.
during back then kasi, admittedly, I've already watched this film multiple times.
Mhm.
Pero, it was then lang siguro nang sinimulan ko yung ganitong series na parang mas lumawak yung perception ko pagdating sa pinapanood ko. Sobrang critical na yung pinapanood. Which alam na nga ng girlfriend ko, sobrang critical ko. Pero in this movie kasi, the first time I watched it, I could still remember na parang nakita ko to, oh, it's going to be a feel good movie. Yun ang
Yeah.
akala ko. Because the name itself is Pursuit of Happiness.
Yeah.
And then you see the poster with Will and Jaden Smith. Katulad niya na, ayan nga, sa background natin. Sa
Nakangiti.
background natin,
Mukhang
nakangiti
happy.
masayang dalawa. And even this, yung nakalagay dyan sa baba, at ayan yan, yung baba na yan, nakangiti pa rin si Will Smith dyan sa photo niya. Pero nung pinanood ko na, it's like, oh, jeez. So this is the real life ng 1980s. I think 80s or 70s. And during the 80s, not sure if you know, it's actually one of the worst times pagdating sa financial status sa US din. Kasi nakikita natin din dun eh. You could see people lining up outside just to take
Mm.
shelter.
Yeah, ang dami.
Nung na-research ako doon, totoo pala nangyari itong mga to. Totoo nangyari siya. And coming from them na medyo well-off yung family niya before nag-invest doon sa bone conducting machine,
Mhm.
that was a very big wake-up call for him. Iniwanan siya ng asawa niya dahil failed marketing nga. Na, bakit? Parang nakakatawa pa nga doon eh, isipin mo, iniwanan ka ng asawa mo. Pero di ba kayong dalawa nag-decide gawin ito? If you're going to look at the movie again, or syempre nakapanood mo lang, na parang, anong tulong ang ginawa ng asawa niya? Wala. Based doon sa movie na yun na walang tinulong yung asawa niya. Parang gusto lang, just, tawag dito, discard everything. I want you to come home without those stuff. Narinig mo yun, di ba? Parang sinabi niya yun. And goodbye and good riddance. Tapos sabi ni Will Smith, just good, parang just say goodbye to them, not good riddance. Parang dating kasi, medyo rocky na yung relationship nila dahil it's
Ang
very
nai
stressful state, di ba? Na wala na kayong pera and then yung machines na binili nyo nandiyan pa rin eh. It's going to be a reminder of the failures that you have. Yeah, you're about to say something, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, in retrospect, yung wife, I feel parang somehow naiintindihan ko kung ba't niya iniwan.
Yeah. Oh,
Kasi she was working like 2 shifts straight for the past, I don't know, 3 months ba yung sinabi sa movie?
yeah,
And
around
kahit
that time.
3, 6 months ata, yeah. And hindi niya dapat ginagawa yun. I mean, hindi naman she had to, pero naawa ako sa part ng wife. I think she is encouraging um she is encouraging him to find a legit work na somehow. Na kaya nung sinabi niya na mag-stockbroker ako, sabi niya,
Nung una may
no,
excitement pa
hindi.
eh.
Oo,
Nung
nung
una
una
may
may
excitement
excitement
pa eh.
pa. Na
Pero nung
naghahanap siya
sinabi
ng
niya na
work.
walang
Yeah.
sweldo,
Yun, parang, bakit di ka mag-astronaut? So, parang, naging parang,
naging ano na sarcastic yung dating niya.
yeah. And ang hirap
Yes.
pag financial problems na yung problem niyo sa relationship. It's super hard. Kaya, me, parang one of the foundations that you really have to set is parang personal finance mo sa sarili mo needs to be parang kahit papaano naman intact. Pero when you meet someone, hindi siya magiging factor kasi nakakalungkot. Sayang yung pinagdaanan nila. At the start of the movie, parang sobrang saya nila. They were really a team. Parang they have this dream. It just really failed. Yun.
I think real life experience din yun. It's the
Mm.
reality. It's something na you rarely see in Hollywood. Na maglalagay ka ng at least 90% accurate kung ano nangyayari in real life. Pagdating sa personal life, not saying about politics and everything. That should be
Yeah,
left out of our entertainment.
true.
Pero yung ganon, doon mo nakita na parang, ako lang I'm not sure kung same sa'yo. So, at this point, ladies and gentlemen, dissect na namin yung movie. uh, hindi naging helpful yung babae pagdating dun sa gusto nila mangyari dun sa
Mm.
investment. Hindi
Yeah.
siya naging up for na, alam mo yun, pwede ko isulat sana sa movie na parang, before I took in job, any job siguro. Or
Yeah.
maybe tama yung ginawa niya na meron siyang trabaho na. I'm not gonna discount na dapat merong katrabaho talaga, regardless kung meron kang sideline na malaking kinikita mo. Pero, the way she was written, and this isn't fully accurate na nakita ko yung research. Pero the way she was written na parang, anong nangyari, she just gave up pagdating sa investment nila. Parang nakita niya na wala na. Kasi immediately, di ba, after nung ma-establish na may bahay na sila,
Mm.
uh, may kotse na, nabili na nila yung dream house nila or something na rent nila, they were forced into a reality that hindi na bibili yung
Mga
yung
mga
medical
lolo.
medical items, di ba?
Yeah.
So, after nun, you didn't see Laura, I think Laura's the name, na there was no attempt na parang tulungan kita.
That's the word, attempt.
There was no
Means,
attempt to help,
yeah.
hey, Chris, dispose of everything. Kasi, eto, tanungin kita. If you have a partner and then, syempre, pera nyo yung dalawa, it's not just mag-asawa sila eh.
Mm.
Would you just let your partner do it na ganon, knowing na kaya mo naman tulungan before? And nakikita niya marami na tambak na. Syempre, ginusto niyo yung investment na yan. I can't believe na, alam mo yung tipong si Chris lang yung bibili. Tapos sabay
Yeah.
siya. Wala. If ganun yung nangyari, she was written very poorly. Parang freeloader
True.
lang siyang asawa.
Yeah.
Though kumuha, may trabaho siya. I get that. But this investment is something conjugal na dapat kayong dalawa nagtutulungan dahil kayong dalawa lang maasahan.
Exactly.
Hindi man pwede si Jaden Smith ang tutulong sa inyo dahil bata pa yon, diba? So, she was written a bit poorly at some time. Lalo na yung,
Mm.
yung tipong, saan ba to? Um, nagalit na siya na I just want out. Sinabi niya ganun. Parang nung ngayon tinitignan ko, okay, so wala akong nakitang attempt na tulungan mo yung asawa mo. Panay naging ka. Though I know na meron kang right para magnag. Kasi you've been working twice in a day. Two
Mm.
shifts nga in about 3 or 6 months. Mabigat yun para sa kanya. Pero, alam mo yun, earlier on,
Yeah.
dapat tumulong ka na.
Ganda ng word mo, yung attempt. Kasi at first, totoo, at first, it was like, parang dream nilang dalawa.
Dream na yung dalawa eh.
Pero dream nilang dalawa, ang saya-saya nila. They rented a very fancy house. They bought a car. Pero nung parang ando na yung mga challenges, ando na yung mga mahihirap na part, parang sumuko na siya. Sinukuan niya
Oo.
agad-agad. Sinukuan niya
Sumuko
na
siya agad.
agad-agad yung pangarap nilang dalawa. And chose to be employed, chose the safer side, chose the, yeah, it's the safer side kasi employment is regular. If you have active work, you have active income. Compared sa business idea nila na they really have to make appointments to doctor, they have to sales pitch every time. It's the safer side, it's the employment side. And I guess yun yung part ng movie na, yun nga, poorly rated. Kasi hindi natin alam eh kung she really did exhaust her everything. Pero,
Yan. Kung may backstory sana, mas maganda.
yeah.
They extended added another 5 to 10 minutes discussing families. Di pong downfall na ng ng family nila nung nakikita nilang hindi nagiging viable yung
Mm.
binebenta. That would be a better addition sana. It didn't spoil the movie whatsoever. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm just looking at it as a critic and then I'm happy na napansin mo din yun. Na yung poorly written yung asawa niya. Kasi sometimes hindi na makapansin ng tao yun because it's Will Smith. So, titignan natin dito. Diba? They really want it to be a success story lang. Pero
Yeah.
here, this is a reality na nakikita natin. No? The
Yeah.
stress of having debt, stress of not achieving anything on your plans, it really takes a toll on everyone. You could attest to that. I could attest to that as well. Ayun, so yun yung heaviest part nun sa tingin ko, yung sa relationship nila.
Mm.
Pero moving forward, ikaw, any comments ba doon pagdating kay Laura sa asawa niya?
Naisip ko rin na pwedeng yung ginawa niya na parang binitawan na yung business idea and pursued employment is a response. Parang response siya kasi takot siya na wala nang maipakain. Takot sila na wala nang income. So, yun na yung part na yun. Parang, okay, Will, ikaw na ba? Yung husband niya na yung bahala. I-dispose lahat ng machines and siya na yung bahala para may pang survive every day. Kasi if walang mabenta, wala silang makakain. So, yun, I siguro,
Totally understandable.
yeah.
Totally understandable. I mean, ako, empleyado ako as opposed to yun na entrepreneur ka. And I do wish sana ginagawa ko din yung gusto ko pagdating sa business, pero wala. Ganun talaga. May sinswerte, may minamalas. At least people you're getting two sides of a coin.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you have me talking in the employed as an employed person and Carla
Perspective.
talking as an entrepreneur. So you're going to get more perspectives in this movie. Hindi lang isa. Okay, so yan nga. Strain on the family relationship going down just because of finances. Not just because, parang because, hindi lang just because of financial stress na meron sila sa buhay nila. Nakita mo yung kotse nila, kinuha na lang out of nowhere, kinukwento pa lang niya yun, di ba? That's my car right
Hinayaan
there.
nila.
Oh, hinayaan na lang niya. So broken family na at that point, they still haven't finished up yung yung stocks and then kailangan na nila mag-part ways. Anong impact sa'yo nung namimili na sila kung sinong kukuha ng anak? Kasi you have a responsibility as a parent, regardless kung anong finances mo. Parang si babae gusto lang niyang kunin. Si Chris gusto niyang palakihin. There is a big difference sa kanilang dalawa. Kung napansin mo. Laura just wanted to get him kasi anak. Si Chris
Yeah.
gusto niyang i-groom. Gusto niya ipakita yung real world sa kanya na this is what's happening para matuto ka agad in a very young age. Which side siguro kung anong mas favorable sa'yo doon when you were watching? Obviously, mas favorable sa ating both yung kay Will Smith. Pero detaching ourselves from Alam mo yun? Sabihin natin, look it straight. Kung ikaw yung anak, kanino ka sasama sa dalawa?
Kung ako yung anak. Kasi mapapansin mo talaga yung difference nila as parents eh. How, parang, nung nag-uusap sila, mapapansin mo kung paano nila gusto kunin yung anak nila.
Mm.
Laura just wants to take her son out of responsibility. And on the other hand, Will wants to take his son kahit hindi niya alam kung saan siya kukuha ng papakain sa anak niya. Pero andun yun, yung willingness na he will do everything, whatever it takes to groom this person. And
Mm.
sa early stages ng movie, sa early parts ng movie, makikita mo kung gaano siya ka-bonded with,
Okay, involve.
yeah, kung gaano siya ka-involved. They play basketball, parang nag, nagkukwentuhan sila all the time, what happens sa school. Yun, so kung ako yung anak, bias aside, sasama rin talaga ako sa tatay ko.
Bagay. Yeah, I would actually, siguro in a real world scenario, kung ako, sama ako sa nanay ko. For
Kasi
now.
safe.
For now. Kasi, it's not because hindi ko mahal yung tatay ko. I know yung, at that point, alam ko yung best interest, pero to become successful, you have to take the load off. Alam mo yun, kung gets mo. Kailangan tanggalin mo yung, kung ako lang kung mature na yung utak ko, ganun pala ako kaliit. Nung alam ko na yung mangyayari sa sarili ko, sasama ako sa nanay ko. Because I want my dad to be successful muna. Anytime pwede akong bumalik sa kanya. Anytime, I've seen the willingness ng father ko to improve. And I don't want to be that hurdle na parang, dahil nandito ako, magkakaroon ng limitation. I want him to be successful. We could still remain in communication naman. Kasi anak ako eh. Pero that's me, siguro, being a kid na ito na yung utak ko.
Yeah.
Pero kung wala to, malamang sumama din ako sa tatay ko.
Kasi when
Dahil
you,
it's fun eh. Di ba? It's fun. Nakasama mo yung tatay mo eh. Parang, and yun nga, katulad ng sinabi mo kanina, Chris Gardner is a very engaging father to his son. Sobra. Yung life experience na nakikita mo sa kanilang dalawa, parang ano na yun eh, ang hirap makakita ng ganun, klaseng tatay. You have, or even the parents, sabihin natin baliktad sa yung dalawa, nanay yung ganun yung ugali. Okay, Chris. Bira ka makakita ng ganun. And, yung sobrang, ano niya, dedicated niya, na ayaw niyang mapunta, o maramdaman ulit ng anak niya yung ganito. Kita mo naman yun, parang, ito, iniisip niya, ito na yung pinakauling beses na mararamdaman mo yun. Yung, we're going to rent a room or, I mean, living in welfare, the US, sabi nga nila. Ayaw na niya maramdaman yun. Kasi di ba tinanong nila, for how long na natin gagawin to? Hopefully not. Again, di ba sabi niya ganun, nung may pera na sila, nung unang pasok ng $250 sa atin, pagpasok, ay hindi, nung pagbenta nila ng huling unit, sabi niya, we're going to rent a hotel. We're going to go in a hotel nga. Sabi ni Jaden, if you want, we could still stay in that room or on the cave, which is in CR.
grabe.
No. And I've researched yung CR. Yung CR scene, totoo, nangyari siya. Nangyari siya.
May nakalatag
Yung,
yung mga tissue.
and yung ginawa ni Will Smith doon, it's very accurate daw pagdating doon sa experience nila. Dahil pinakita ni Chris sa kanila. Dahil kung nabasa mo yung intro ng movie, one of the executive producers was Chris himself. So, pinuntahan nila yung mismong place kung saan nangyari yun. And, ayun nga, yung emotional burden nga daw naramdaman ni Will Smith. So, everything that we saw on the subway scene was 100% real, authentic pagdating sa feelings niya.
I still have to remind myself na it's based on a true story kasi parang grabe yung...
Kasi kung isipin mo sa one in a million scenario, di ba? Parang kung you're going to look at it na parang bihira mangyayari itong gantong
'di
klaseng
ba?
buhay. Hindi bang successful ka and then these much hurdles ang kailangan niyang gawin, overcome. It's really
Most
heart-wrenching and also very inspiring both at the same time. Um, yeah, so again, sama sa parents, Carla has chosen with no reservations kay Chris sumama ako in between either or. If I want my dad to be successful, malamang I would like to take myself off the equation muna para magawa niya yung kailangan niya gawin. Pero kung yung utak ko bata din, malamang tatay din ako
'di ba?
sa sana.
Kasi
Oo.
ngayon 'pag medyo mature na yung utak mo, like 'pag tumanda-tanda ka na, you can look at yourself na, oo nga 'pag sumama ako sa tatay ko, I will be a liability and become parang I will drag him sa success
Oo,
niya, eh.
'di
So,
ba?
hayaan ko siya. Pero yun, kung bata ka talaga, mas gusto mo kung kanino ka mas bonded. Parang di mo kasi pinoproblema personally kung paano ka mag-survive everyday kasi there's someone who's guiding you kahit papaano. Unlike na 'pag
Mm.
medyo tumanda-tanda ka na, andiyan na yung parang, "Ay, saan siya kukuha ng ganito 'pag ganito ako? Saan siya kukuha ng ganyan 'pag sumama ako?" So,
And also part of it is the comfort zone nga sinasabi mo. Nag-usapan natin off cam kanina, off
yeah.
live kanina na. Kasi bata ka pa eh. Di
Mm.
ba? Kung bata ka pa, as much as bad as this will sound, i- responsable ang parents mo to give you the best that they can. And yung buhay na binigay ni Chris dun sa anak niya, for that movie, yung scenario na yun, that wasn't the best life na pwede mo ibigay sa anak. Honestly, at that time. So, syempre, I mean, Chris was very well thought of. Parang gusto niya talaga yung the best for the child. Pero imagine that scenario na nangyayari ngayon. Hindi mangyayari yung scenario. Aabot yan hanggang korte. Kung
Mm.
tutuusin.
'Di ba?
Lalo
Parang
na kapag walang pera yung tatay.
hindi
You
mo
don't have the
mai
capability. Yun ang inilalaban nila sa korte. It's very funny na ganun yung naiisip natin ngayon if you're going to look at it before and also the scenarios ngayon, ibang-iba na talaga. Sabi ko nga sa nanay ko kanina, this movie won't be able to be a hit today. Kasi ang daming mga racial stereotypes sa movie na to, madaming mga stuff na hindi magiging hit ngayon. Pero it actually came out in the perfect time, 2000, early 2000s kasi medyo formative pa yung tao na
mm.
busy lang, gusto magtrabaho, gusto ma-entertain. But anyway, medyo nagiging political na. Pero, yeah, it's very, ang hirap mag-decide. So, ikaw, yung first, ano na yun, siguro ano yung ano mo, ano yung turning point dun sa movie na yun? As far as you could remember. From him being broke as hell, and then, alam mo na, sinimulan na yung journey niya, proper.
Yung turning point sa akin is, 'di ba parang he was on the fence kung tatanggapin niya yung internship or not. Kasi walang salary, saan siya kukuha ng salary? Saan siya kukuha ng pang day-to-day, walang salary. So, the turning point for me was when he decided to take the internship regardless if wala siyang sasahurin. And gagamitin niya yung mga natirang machines na kahit papaano to help him survive for the next couple of months. Kahit parang living way, 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 way below the regular standard. So,
Mm.
yun. Kasi parang somehow calculated risk siya. Kasi he still has enough na machines. Yun nga lang, hindi niya na-calculate na yung nagpadala ng letter yung IRS na kinuha niya yung $600 sa bank account niya. So, that's uncalculated, wala sa plano niya. And dun talaga parang bumulusot siya. Pero kung titingnan mo, he made a wise choice na meron pa ako kahit paano to help me survive for the next couple of months hanggang matapos ko yung internship. And then once I get the internship and hopefully ako ay mapili na isang tao ng firm, then yun na. That
It's
was the
funny, di
turning
ba?
point.
Kung isipin mo na you have this all thought out. Ito yung one of the plot holes nito movie na to which natawa ako nung na-realize ko. Alam mo, may utang ka sa IRS. And then, linagay mo pa yung pera mo sa bangko. Doon ako natawa kanina. Sabi ko, has Chris actually thought this out? Kasi kung ako yon, hindi ko na ilalagay muna yung pera sa bangko knowing na NPA ako. Di ba?
Mm.
O, hindi ako pwede sundan kung saan-saan lang. Unless kung pumunta siya sa Dean Witter talaga. Yun,
Mm.
mali-discover ko nasaan ka. So, ang laki na nawala sa kanya nun. Kasi it's the last unit. Tapos before nun, di ba gumastos pa sila, nag-hotel pa sila eh.
Mm.
And then, pag, pagkuha ng envelope po tsaka IRS letter, sabi ko,
Wala na siyang pera.
wala ka ng pera ngayon. And then, nakikipag-negotiate pa siya with the IRS phone agent na wag kukunin yung pera ko eh. This is the
Yung
last money
karapatan
that
mo.
I have. Di
Yeah.
ba? Parang, pero I just found that a bit funny na linagay nila yon. Parang ngayon kasi medyo naging critic na ako pagdating sa mga ganito. Parang
Mm.
napaka-offhand. Ba't hindi mo ba iniisip to? Kaya tawa ako ng tawa kanina. Hindi niya naisip yon. Kasi ako naiisip ko kaagad yun kapag may utang kang ganon. And you're fully aware kasi first part of the movie established na pinag-usapan nila mag-asawa, have you paid taxes already? No.
Mm.
I'm going to ask for an extension. You already ask for an extension. Then I'm going to ask for another extension. Sabi nila Laura sa kanya with dito parang
Interest.
may interest. So doon pa lang, ba't ka pa maglalagay ng pera sa bangko? Lalo na ngayong ka pa, NPA ka pa. So you really need cash on hand, di ba?
Okay.
Well, yeah, it's very valid na you point out na wala siyang pera dito sa internship na to. And then, what could yung magpapala dito for, I think, a week or 2 weeks ba? Tama ba? I forgot. Kung ilan linggo yung internship niya. Nawala silang bayad.
6 months.
6 months ba? O yun. Hindi naman nakalimutan ko agad. Not good with numbers. So, hindi ako magiging milyonaryo. So, yeah, according to them, di ba yun yung sinabi sa Dean Witter, di ba? Kailangan magaling ka sa sa numbers para maging
Numbers.
milyonaryo ka, which very, very, it is true. Kasi yung reality na meron tayo na everything is a numbers game.
Yeah. Gusto
Lahat.
ko.
You have
Gusto ko
calculated
yung...
risk, di ba? Calculated
Yeah.
risk lahat. It's a numbers game kung tutuusin. For me, yung turning point nito is a few scenes before nun.
Okay.
You remember nung kinausap niya yung taong nasa Ferrari?
Oh,
And
yung
tinanong niya, I want to have, parang inisip niya, I want to have what you have. How did you achieve?
what do you do?
Mm, how did you achieve it? I'm a stockbroker. Where? At Dean Wither. Sabay, yun nga, in-open up na yung topic na kaya apply, di ba? Parang ganyan sinabi niya ganun. So, for me, that, at this time, ngayon na nag-understand ng movies na yun yung turning point for me kasi wala siyang direction nung una. Kundi benta lang yung kailangan niya ibenta, which it's not really sustainable. It's a sustainable plan short term. Kasi yung trabaho na after ng internship, that's a long-term job. Tutusin. So, malaking kita niya doon. So, yung decision niya na parang, I need to do something else. Oppose na yung tipong magbebenta na ako. So, doon na-establish na parang may na siya, may direction na siya na gusto kong yumaman.
May clarity. Clarity is important.
Kasi yung una, parang he's just beating around the bush. Tipong, I just need to
Survive.
survive and also, they call this, mawala na lahat tong in-invest namin. Bumalik lang ROI.
Dispose.
So, two things dun sa na yun, sa scene na yun. Una, the way kung paano niya in-approach yung tao. I think you know about this sales na lapit tayo sa tao na hindi natin kilala. Just knowing, asking them, lalo na yung mga successful people, asking them, how did you actually do it? What was your plan in achieving or getting this Ferrari, getting this first million that you have? Most of the time kasi yung tao pag tinanong mo, kahit sabi mong hindi mo kilala, minsan magbibigay na information yun eh.
Yeah.
It really depends kung paano ka na mag-approach. Kung paano na yung approach mo talaga. Ikaw, what do you think about that? That scene?
I agree. Yung mga taong maraming na-achieve sa buhay na na-realize ko, hindi sila madamot mag-share. ng
Yep.
information. Hindi sila madamot magbigay ng information because they want other people to achieve. They want other people to, you know, somehow achieve din kung ano yung mga na-achieve nila. And ang laking factor yung the way you approach. Kasi hindi ka mag-approach lang na it's a two-way street eh. Hindi ka mag-approach na, uy, tulungan mo ako, pengi akong opportunity,
Mm,
ganyan. No, you ask.
no.
You come from a place of parang you're really interested in how,
Genuine interested.
yeah, genuine interest is really important. And if na-establish mo yun na may genuine interest ka dun sa tao and paano niya na-achieve yung mga na-achieve niya, no doubt, i-share niya kung paano niya nagawa yun. And I notice it like in real life, parang a lot of people na, yun nga, marami na-achieve, hindi talaga sila madamot. And they're really nice to talk to as long as nandun yung interest mo na to know their story. And yeah, that's life. Kailangan talaga maging intentional ka and genuine on how you approach people, on how you treat people. And yun
Mm,
yung isa sa mga skills na sinabi sa movie, di ba? You need to be very good at numbers and you need to be very good at people.
people. Siya
Uh,
rin mismo nagsabi. Yung mayaman mismo nagsabi
yeah.
yata. Diba?
Mm. And sa movie si Chris andun yung um nagre-reflect naman dun kung gaano siya kagaling talaga with people naturally siguro or I don't know kung na-enhance na nung nag-business siya. Pero the way he approach people, paano siya makipag-communicate kahit different level ng life, it parang very natural for him. It's really good with people.
And he's really good with numbers kung tutuusin.
Yeah. So
Kaya number
yun.
one, ano doon, number one, na-realize ko yun is nung binigay sa kanya yung number. Binigay
Oh
sa kanya yung
yeah.
number.
Wala siyang pen? Gosh. Oo.
Ako hindi ko kaya memorize yun. It's around 12, 14 numbers yata.
May extension
Phone
number
number,
pa.
extension number pa. Yun yung tinignan ko na, okay, sige. Yeah, magaling to. Yung imposible ano. Parang wala lang talaga siyang direction initially. Ang number one, ito yung ano, napansin ko sa content mo na parang lahat na nakakausap mo, may direction sila pagdating sa gusto nila ma-achieve or at least yung goal na gusto nila mangyari. We have people like me na parang may gusto mangyari pero hindi alam kung ano yung plan. Well, may plan ako pero may alam mo yun, talking in generalization, there are people who like to achieve something without even planning for it. Parang gusto na nila
Mm.
mag-dive in something. And then, alam mo yung ano, yung term na let's go ahead and throw everything in the wall and see what sticks method. Ganon.
Mm.
Kasi, ano eh, parang nakita nilang nagawa ng isang tao. Akala nila gano'n na lang kadali. Akala nila gano'n na lang. Even sabihin natin, ma-achieve mo ngayong 100,000 sa isang taon na yung tipong pera mo lang. That's
Mhm.
very hard to achieve nowadays.
Yeah.
Let alone a million. So, yung kay Chris, initially, parang wala silang planong mag-asawa. Ang gusto nila mag-dispose and then yumaman. Dispose ng haters and then yumaman. Yun lang. Wala ka nakikitang nakasit down sa yung dalawa, nag-uusap, planning or anything. There's really nothing getting sa part na yun. Pero, yeah, I digress. So, yeah, very good with numbers and also with people. Ikaw, let's apply this in a real life scenario. Ikaw ba, were there an instance na parang kinailangan mo talagang makipag-usap sa isang tao na sabihin natin hindi mo feel pero you really needed to in a
Yeah.
business perspective?
A lot
And
of
how did you
times.
handle it? How did you handle it? Sabihin natin yung worst.
Um, I was a call center agent when I was 18 years old. Um, Working student ako at the time. And then around 3 years later, I was promoted to handle my own team. And
Shit.
one of the things na I struggled with, but I really had to, was people management. Kasi no one trains you to become good with managing a team. And that
Mm,
was really my challenge before. Especially na promote ako at a very young age. Ako yung pinakabatang parang team leader at that time. And I was handling parang team members even twice my age and really older than me. And feeling ko, I came from a place of insecurity na parang, ay, ang bata pa ko pa, baka hindi ako mapakinggan yan. Pero, I had to learn how to work with people. I had to learn kung anong strengths ko at bakit ako ako. And finding a common interest, finding a common ground with that person really helps parang to break
Break
any
the ice.
barrier,
Mm,
na meron ka. And hindi talaga mawawala nandun yung mga tao na hindi kayo aligned with the same values. Pero at the end of the day, you still have to respect people. Yes. Yeah.
I agree. Kasi, ano yung respect kasi that needs to be established na rin talaga. Even in the first conversation na meron.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter kung business ang pinag-uusapan nyo. It doesn't even matter kung fandom ang pinag-uusapan.
Yeah.
Lalo na ngayon, daming fan wars ngayon, fandom wars ngayon. Which I'm also involved with. Pero, kapag nawala kasi yung respect mo, doon nagda-downhill lahat. Doon nagkakaroon ng complications sa,
Yeah.
kunyari gusto mo kausapin ngayon, then naging combative tayo kasi iba yung pananaw
Views.
mo. Ikaw ano ka, granted na naging call center agent ka before, pero right now you're in a different realm. You're more into entrepreneurship and business and ako purely yun yung ginagawa ko. And ibang-iba yung ano natin. Well, at least dun sa term na yun, iba. So we did have a common ground pagdating sa
Mm.
self-improvement. Yun yung something na ano natin talaga na tawag dito that we totally agree on. And sometimes hindi talaga magsisimula yung proper conversation. Pag alam mo yun, na-identify mo yung kung anong commonalities ninyo and then use it to drive the conversation moving forward.
Yeah.
Dun na yung lumalabas yung, "Oy, I could probably work with this person talaga." Pero
Ito.
sometimes nga, TL ka, alam mo yun, na tipong regardless kung makakaintindihan tayo talaga, we need to work regardless na yun eh. Yun yung pinakamahirap minsan eh. And hanga ako sa mga taong gano'n eh, tipong kaya nilang set aside yung differences talaga. Lalo na pag meron nangyari na before. Na meron yung tipong may incidents na it's very hard to reconcile. Lalo na sa loob ng opisina.
Mm.
Ang hirap talaga. Kasi ako before, workforce analyst ako. And marami ako nakakaaway talaga. Kasi it's part of my work eh. Anong gagawin natin? Ang trabaho ko, manita ng tao. And ako nagbibigay ng schedule. So, ako na pag-iinitan. Pero one thing na good, ang maganda kasi na establish ko bago ako naging WFA or scheduler. Ng RTA ako, um, I get to go around the floor. I
Mm.
get to talk with TLs, talk with regular agents kasi I'm putting myself, I always put myself in a scenario na kung ano sila ngayon, ganun din ako dati.
Yeah.
So, regardless kung medyo mataas yung ranko ko kumpara sa inyo, in the end, pag lumabas tayo sa opisina, pare-pares pa rin tayong tao.
That's true. Ang gandang
Kapag wala kang respeto kasi sa ganun, it's basic human respect. It's not respect of authority na pinag-uusapan dito. It's just respect of being human, being, alam mo yung fellow na tao tayo na bubuhay, nagtatrabaho, kumakain. Pag yun na nawala, na tipong gusto mo naman bastos dahil pa-power trip ka. Wala na yun. Susundan ka ng ganong reputation paglabas ng opisina.
mm.
And you won't, it's easier to get respect from people outside. Kasi hindi ka kilala eh. Pero
Mm.
yung tipong nasa opisina ka, kilala ka na eh. So, you have to establish yung tipong, you are, anong tawag sa term na yun? You are, naman nakalimutan ko tuloy, consistent na naman yan. Kahit na hindi yun, consistent on ano yung reality mo. Either or. Kung ano ka dito, dapat ganun ka din. Hindi yung tipong mabait ka sa labas, then sa loob, hindi pala. Even vice
Mm.
versa.
Yeah.
But you also have yung limitations nga. Kasi iba-iba naman tayo. Hindi naman pare-parehas. That also applies siguro in business din. Tipong may working relationship ka with your team. Sabihin natin may team ka ba ngayon sa
Ayun.
ginagawa mo? Talaga
Solo
solo ka.
trainer.
So, you still have a working relationship with your clients.
Hmm.
Diba? Hindi mo sila ina-undermine, same value
Hmm.
na ibibigay mo sa kanila maganda, babalik din sa inyo. In terms of, may referral ka na, oy, si Carla ganito. Galing. Yung interview kong ganito, sabihin nyo, si JM, pwede palang kausap na maayos. Yung tao, ganun. Parang hindi
Yeah.
bang ganun? It's just a good experience always triumphs a bad experience in the sense of going forward with a working relationship talaga. Kitang-kita mo rin dito sa movie na to, yung working relationship niya with yung bosses niya.
Ay,
Very obvious.
yeah,
It's
super
very
happy
obvious.
that you pointed that out. Kasi kahit remember yung $5 scene,
Yeah,
yung
yeah.
kailangan niyang magbigay, tapos dinadalawang isip siya kung ibibigay niya. Sabi niya,
Oo.
akit na lang ako sa building, kukunin ko yung wallet mo. No, hindi ko, kailangan ko ng umalis. As far as $7 lang pera niya, binigay niya pa rin without asking for anything in return. And that's the thing with life or in business. When you value talaga relationships, you don't ask for anything in return. Pag genuine ka talagang tao, na you really value your relationship with other people,
Mm.
may reciprocity nangyayari eh. One way or another. Hindi man immediate yung pagbalik. Hindi man even monetary yung pagbalik. May babalik sa'yo. Kahit ano, yung mga pa-donut, bibili ng kape, he was doing that out of respect. He was doing that also siguro to establish himself, to build really better relationships. So yun yung focus niya at the time. Kasi he was no one, he was nobody when he started at the firm. No one, when you start at any company, no one really cares about you.
Yes, yeah.
Unless you really establish yourself na you someone that can be trusted, na someone that can bring value in. And he really represented that person na, person of value. Person of who values relationship. So, I really love that you pointed that out.
Oh yeah. Kasi ano siya eh, it's natural na dapat ganun ka. It actually goes way back pa medyo nung kinukulit niya yung isang mag-interview. Pansin mo.
Mm.
Kinukulit niya isang nag-interview to the point na parang one of the first blunders yung sumama siya sa taxi and then
Yung Rubik's
sinabi
Cube.
sa kanya, yung Rubik's Cube sinabi niya, we could do this all day and you won't be able to do it. Sabi nung would-be boss niya. Jay. I remember Jay yata yung pangalan. Ang nakakatawa nun, tinitignan sila pati nung driver.
Kasi nag-Rubik's
Kasi
Cube
yun,
yung driver.
oo. And then, yun sa kanya kasi panay kwento siya ng ganito ganyan. So nakakita siya ng commonalities, di ba?
Yeah, yung
Another
pinag-
symbolism. Di ba?
Mhm.
Another symbolism ng commonalities because nasa bahay siya, alam ko yung anak niya meron.
Mhm.
And then, parang, ayun yung nakakatawa nun, sabi niya, you won't be able to do that. At parang, ganun. Sabay, ang lakas pa ng loob niya, di ba? Parang, I have confidence na sabihin niya. Yeah, I could do
Yeah.
that. Hindi natin alam kung gaano katagal yon kasi umabot ng $11 yung yung charge.
Yung metro
So,
ng taxi.
ang tagal na pala noon at that time. Kasi malaki na yung $11.
Yeah.
Nabuisit
Gaano
ako
kalayo
noon.
kaya?
Yun. And nabuisit ako noon, nakalimutan ni Jay magbayad.
Hindi niya
It's a
nakalimutan.
good,
Tumakas talaga
pwede
siya.
din. Pwede din na hindi niya nakalimutan kasi nangyari, nakasabay eh. Nakasabay si Jay sa kanya. Siya, siguro kung ako yun. Mas nauna ako lumabas talaga. Kung ako yung mas nauna ako lumabas. Kasi, well, I do understand, you know this. You have to build rapport with people na hindi
Yeah.
niya maiwasan.
Mhm.
And talking about rapport, I want you to siguro, syempre napanood mo yung movie, I want you to siguro discuss din, or at least on your end, kung ano yung top scenes nung pagdating sa rapport building skills dito sa movie na to. Ano yung mga
Yeah.
napansin mong, yung tipong, alam mo yun, nagbe-build up siya ng relationships with people.
Really.
Madami dito eh.
Yeah, I
Madami
remember
dito
a
eh.
few. First is yung sa labas ng building. Yung tinanong niya, di ba, how do you do
Kotse,
this? Parang paano ko
Ferrari.
yung kotse part. Yeah. And another thing na na-highlight ko was yung, remember he had an appointment with the CEO, tapos hindi siya naantay during the parang their appointment. So pinuntahan niya sa bahay personally and sabi niya, I respect your time. I want to thank you for the opportunity. Tapos after that, nagpunta sila sa game And he built rapport with the network of that CEO. And yeah, that's really powerful. Kasi
Mm.
ako, he's
You,
starting to
you
build
won't
his
get every
network.
day. Hindi,
Yeah,
hindi ka bibigyan everyday opportunity na kausapin
yeah.
si CEO.
And to be surrounded, parang 'di ba, the people at the end of the game, parang people gave him cards and that's gold at that time. Walang email address, I don't know, walang email address at that time. That cards, it's really powerful. It's like parang gold talaga at the time. So, yeah, so yun yung parang parts na nag-highlight sa akin in building rapport. And he doesn't care if wala siyang kotse, he doesn't care kung ano mang nangyayari sa buhay niya ngayon. He was just really focused on building network, building relationship, which is building rapport, which is very important talaga
Pero,
if you want to.
pero panira yung anak niya nung pupunta sa game.
Oh,
Sabi ng ng CEO na, "Where's your car? Why did you just leave that in your car?" Sabi ng ni Jaden, "We don't have any car." Then nag-fake siya na parang kinagat siya ng bee. Ay,
oh,
nesting siya ng bee and then
yeah.
okay, it's part of it's good script writing siguro na
Mm.
break the tension na lang. Kasi mas maganda yun, mas maganda yung part. Pero nakakatawa siya kung iisipin mo.
Kasi wala alam yung bata.
Andyan lang. There's a risk there. There's a big risk there kasi that CEO is actually looking forward to talking to someone successful.
Yeah.
Yun, kaya ka tinanggap nun dahil isipin niya, oh, you're working for a big company like
True.
Dinwiddie and I know siguro successful ka. Hindi, kasi yung mga ganun tao, hindi na nila iniisip. Pero if you're in a position of power, katulad nga sinasabi nila, CEO is already a position of power kasi you're handling a whole company. You would like to talk or connect with people which has the same or at least the same level na meron ka.
Yeah, somehow.
Honestly, yun talaga.
Yeah.
Sometimes, yun, kasi yung reason kung bakit sa'yo nag-usap is purely business. Ayaw naman
Mm.
niya interest yung finances niya sa isang tao na, alam mo yun, na kakapasok pa lang. Which na kakapasok pa lang niya.
Oo. Nasa top nga ng list niya yun, di ba?
Oo.
Parang when they call pataas eh.
So, how lucky was he na nakuha niya kagad ng ganun? First attempt, hindi pa nga niya nakuha. And he even took that car, yung ano niya, nung isa sa mga
Mm.
bosses doon, para lang, nakakatawa pa noon, na-finean pa siya. Hindi lang niya nalagay yung coin. So,
Mahal.
double, ano tawag dito? Double Russian roulette siya nun dahil, pucha, hindi mo nakuha yung meeting mo. And then ngayon, may fine ka pa na kailangan mong bayaran under the name ng taong may-ari ng kotse. Doon din ako natawa, another plot hole to. Ba't hindi alam nung may-ari ng kotse na may ano siya, na meron siyang ticket kahit sabi mong kinuha. Kasi that would be registered under his name. And then, nasa city lang sila, imposible naman bisitahin yung may-ari ng kotse.
Ako
Ganun
naisip
simpleng,
ko, baka sinabi niya as soon as nasoli na yung car, sinabi
yun
niya na
talaga,
sa may-ari ng
yun
car.
lang, hindi implied eh. Yun yung
Yeah.
nakakatawa dun, hindi siya implied. So, ladies and gentlemen, nakikita niyo yung difference namin ni Carla ngayon. Pagdating sa analysis ng movie, ako napapansin ko yung mga simpleng ganito. Pero,
Yung
go
may
ahead, sorry.
napansin may napansin din ako like yung when he knocked sa door nung CEO, parang ilang CEO ba yung gano'n na aayain ka sa game without,
Exactly.
just barely knowing you as a
Mm. Hindi, saka rineject
sales
pa niya,
guy.
di ba? Rineject pa niya eh.
Mm. Mm.
Rineject pa niya yung opportunity to be, parang twice pa siya sinabi na, are you going to the game, even yung
Yeah.
una, saka pupunta. And
'Di
then yung
ba
second,
parang
we do have a box. And then, di pa alam ng anak niya kung ano yung box.
he insisted talaga, in-insist ng CEO eh. Parang yun sa'kin I find it, parang weird. Parang as a CEO, would you really insist for a stranger to join you on a game? Siguro kasi
Or
andun yung bata. Siguro may factor na andun kasi
siguro. Or
yung
are you
kid.
just a very good person, or a very
Yeah.
kind-hearted person to give everyone an opportunity?
Yeah.
Di ba?
And
Parang
then,
ganun yung dating eh.
and then, na-mention din kasi na gusto pupunta sila sa game. So, yun.
Tapos ba yung, going back a bit, nung tumawag siya, I have a meeting canceled. Can you be here in 20 minutes? Siya pa yung isn't it a bit odd na parang yung CEO pa yung nagsabi sa'yo na na-cancel yung meeting ko. Can you make it in
Mm.
20 minutes?
Yeah,
Parang kung iisipin mo na, syempre, you're going to grab that opportunity.
true.
Naisip mo ba? Parang medyo
Oo,
na-reflect mo ba, di ba? Parang,
naisip ko siya ngayon. Parang, tapos nung sabi niya sa game, wala naman talaga siyang interest to let Chris handle his money. Pero nung tumawag ng, sorry, pero nung tumawag sa phone, parang he insists na, okay, come here within the next 20 minutes. So yun, yung
yeah.
parang weird, no?
Very weird. Jace Fox. Man, thanks for hanging out. I actually, what do you call this? Train of thought. We were dissecting Pursuit of Happyness, Jace, and thank you so much for hanging out. Itong Carla, itong nag-comment, he's from Norway. Kanina ko lang nakausap actually, kayo ng umaga lang.
Hi.
I just hanged out dun sa YouTube page nila. Every time we work kasi I hang out with people of interest na nakikita ko maganda yung uh, topics nila. One of the few people na I just recently subscribed with. Maganda siya. If you like to have discussions or follow people na more into the pop culture media, hindi natin kung may favorite ka movie na gusto na hindi ka ganong ka convinced na maganda, they could give you actual analysis of that movie. Marami
Wow.
silang ginagawa over there. And Jace, let's go ahead and talk later. I'm going to send you a message, man. But yeah, thank you for tuning in. Though I'm going to give you a disclaimer, most of the conversations I'm going to have here with my guest, Carla from the Million Peso podcast, would be in our local dialect. We are
Mm.
trying to make it an all English as much as we can, all English conversation as much as we can. But we just can't sometimes. There's some language barrier that we need to localize here. Na use our Tagalog
Yeah.
language because we're more adept to it. But yeah, thank you so much for being here, man. Okay, so yun nga, people. Let me just throw you that scenario. If you were Chris, and then what would you feel talking to the CEO the first time giving you that opportunity to meet him, and that guy is on the top of your list? Knowing when you're going through the list, the number one person that should be on the list would be the last one because that would be a very VIP one. What would you be feeling? Like, are you going to immediately grab that opportunity, the same that we did, or are you going to sit it out first and alam mo yun, rebook call or
Yeah.
something?
No, first thing, the fact na the he called the CEO, it's a very, very terrifying thing to do kung alam mong bago ka pa lang sa company. Somehow I admire his courage to do that. Kasi if it was me, I wouldn't do that. I mean, I'm so afraid to take parang those kind of calls. Like, I mean, especially Carla 5 years ago. She wouldn't even dare to call that person. Pero I think he was on a time crunch then. Kaya he was eyeing for the big fish.
uh,
Parang work smart, not work hard siya eh. Yun yung parang pinapakita niya sa movie. Pero yun na, since he already called and there is already that opportunity na pumayag, I would also grab that. Regardless if I don't feel I'm ready, regardless if I don't feel that I can do the job. But the opportunity presented and hindi siya araw-araw na opportunity na makikita mo. So, what's in it for you to lose? Just grab it. Ikaw ba?
I'm torn in between because I'm the type of person. Jace could actually might relate if I'm going to say it in geek terms. Now I would like to have prep time like Batman. Like to have prep time like Batman because I don't know what I'm going to get into. I need to do the research with this person first. Because alam mo yon, ayoko mapahiya dahil this is
Mm.
probably one in a thousand opportunity that will be presented to me. Am I going to get it? Yes, definitely. But if there's any way that I could uh, rebook yung gusto niya, sabi natin, can you go here, come here in 20 minutes? Mag-iisip ako ng bullshit, ano, alam mo yun, bullshit
Reason?
reason na hindi ko kaya. but can we reschedule it tomorrow? Kasi I want to have everything right in presentation. I want to nail this deal as is. But talagang, it is a very high profile person. We're talking about the CEO here. And malaking feather yon sa cap mo kapag makuha mo right on that spot yung taong yun. Not just for you, even the company mo din. Kasi, sipin mo, 6 months akong 6 months internship. Imposibleng hindi maputol yung internship ko nung kunin ako kagad pag meron akong high profile na mga makuha.
Mm.
Yun yung nasa utak ko nung nakikita ko yun. Would I take the same path that Chris did na kung ganun ako? Surely, I would agree with you na kukunin ko talaga siya. Pero if there's any opportunity or chance to move it a bit further na, alam mo yun, just to be ready even just one day. Just to get a bit of research. Why not? Kasi,
Mm.
you know this, na parang tipong, if you're there, and then gusto mo nang i-present with perfection, nail the deal, tapos. Pero, the flip side of it, if you base it in the movie, mas gumanda pa yung nangyari nung kinuha niya kasi hindi niya na-meet. Now,
Mm.
you have to hound that person. You also went to his personal address or yung house niya, try to build rapport na in-interview ka. Parang, it's only parang thank you lang yun, di ba, yung pumunta niya. Just
Yeah.
say thank you.
Sorry, and I appreciate
Yeah.
your time. I hope we can reschedule.
What happened? He got invited to an baseball game for for free, I think. We both
Yeah.
think that would be for free.
Free.
Sabi, di
In a
ba? Free.
premium
Premium
seat.
pa in the box. Yeah. And what happened there was what you highlighted kanina na the connections during that game. Hindi mo na nail yung CEO but you had other people
Yeah.
for other
Tapos,
business opportunities. That's big. Even
yeah.
if I didn't get this, I have 10 other people na pwede kong kausapin. It
Still
it
open.
that yeah, it also didn't end there. Pansin mo yung parang I think a few days bago matapos yung internship niya. Someone randomly talked to him, Chris, remember me?
I met you at the game.
Yeah, I met you at the game. I didn't actually have your number. I get it.
Yeah, sabi niya.
Contact
I
me. May
was waiting
nakatawa
for
pa
your
dun.
call.
Yeah, exactly. Tapos sabi niya, contact me. Parang pinilit pa. So you have now the so-called street cred to talk with people na hindi mo kilala and then, oy, nakausap ko yung CEO nito and then I have contacts under the CEO. Kung ako sa kanya, ginamit ko na yon as what do you
Leverage.
call this? It's leverage on my current work at internship
Yeah.
na these are the possible things na pwede ko i-presenta sa inyo.
Mm.
Maybe we could work in some sort of a deal para maputol tong ko, internship ko and um, employ me full time.
Yeah.
Pero siguro at the time din na ganyan naisip yun dahil he has a lot of problems. Yung gusto lang niya mapasalan talaga. Ano na, tagal ng part na yun. Dami natin na pag-usapan nun. But yeah, it is the heart of the deal, di ba? It's the heart, yung building relationships with people is number one, not just in business. It's also in real life.
Mm.
If you don't have any any good working relationship with people, you could kiss any deal goodbye.
Yeah, and you know what? It reflects din parang the way you build relationships with other people. It reflects how you treat yourself. It reflects who you are as a person. Kasi if napapansin mo na wala kang nakaka-jive with, wala kang parang connect na tao, maybe it's time to look yourself at the mirror and baka ikaw may problem
Something may
sa'yo.
problem here.
Yeah.
Ask you a question siguro.
Mm.
Pagdating sa building rapport and relationship. What would you do if you have someone like me siguro na hindi ganun kaganda yung rep and I want to establish na nagbago na ako. Business world. Sabihin natin, I had failed dealings na it's very bad. I cost probably a person his company because of a bad decision being the broker or anything else. Insurance, sabihin natin. Nawala yung... So, syempre, bad rep sa akin yun. Anong kailangan kong gawin para at least ma-restore yung yung credibility ko as person before nangyari yung kalokohan na yun?
Nice question. Tough question, actually.
It's business,
um,
business question.
yeah. Accepting na yung napagdaanan mo, yung failure, is also a learning opportunity for you, na you would not do that same mistake again, and just really talking to people who is in the business world, na can really give you genuine advice kung what possibly went wrong and what you could have done correctly. And if you're really like starting from zero, it's
Mm,
important to if you're really starting from scratch, yun doon napapasok na you look for ways na you you look for ways where you can earn kahit papaano and start slowly building up yourself again. Kasi your journey doesn't stop there. Your journey doesn't stop na nag-fail ka. Kasi I mean, once you embrace failure, once you embrace na parang part yun, kahit mahirap. I mean, imagining like Chris when he really had zero, when he really had
mm,
nothing. Just imagining na parang those times, parang kahit paano, kahit imposibleng isipin, things will get better as long as you try do you would as long as you try to do something differently. That's the thing, eh. There are a lot of people who expect something to happen pero they're not doing anything differently sa buhay nila. So how can you expect something in your life to be different if you're literally doing the same thing every single day? So, yun, do something different na hindi mo nagawa noon. Take anything na learn mo from your past experience, and don't be afraid to reach for help. Don't be afraid to seek parang information from other people. Kasi, yeah, as mentioned, there are a lot of people who are willing to help you as long as you are willing to help yourself as well. Yeah,
that's the
that's it.
definition of insanity also. So, trying something over and over again, knowing that na may
It
failure
doesn't
pa
work.
rin yung it doesn't work. Well, pag swertihin ka siguro, 1 in a million times na, oy, although kung ginagawa to, sabay,
That's,
wala. Tapos
yeah,
biglang sumerte ka na, oh yeah, I made it because I kept doing something. Pero, what is the effect along the way? Kung wala na bago sa ginagawa mo, and then, alam mo yun, parang, ginawa mo
yeah,
pa ulit, siguro you succeeded doing something na ganun, pero the foundation of how you succeeded wasn't really good.
yeah, wala dun yung
Kasi,
tamang foundation.
yeah,
Kasi if gagawin mo yung isang bagay ng paulit-ulit na alam mo naman na kung ano na yung naging fruit or anong ending ng kagagawa mo, parang nga, sabi mo, insanity na yun. If you keep on doing things na wala kang literal na binabago, wala kang binabago sa the way you do things, yung routine ng paggawa mo. Unless yun nga, swertehin ka, 1 in a million, mag-work for you somehow. Pero paano mo mare-replicate yun? Paano mo mas-scale yung idea na yun if yung foundation pa lang mali na? So, it will not be sustainable, in my opinion.
it's not sustainable. It's counting your losses na lang dire-diretso. Parang umaasa ka na lang sa milagro. Yun na
Hmm.
yun. Like, and, um, oy, Jace, yeah, I really hope so, man. We should do a collab sometime soon. Really do. Thanks so much for also for the well wishes. And again, we're just Carla and I were just talking about the movie, and medyo tumatagal na nga, pero this is how it is. This is the movie itself. We're trying to dissect it, and whoever is going to watch this moving forward, at least they could get something out of it, especially what Carla's saying on her side, because she's also an entrepreneur. I'm approaching this more on a film critic point of view,
Hmm.
but
Hmm.
since she and I have the commonalities pagdating sa ano, self-development, so we tend to also see some things way similar.
Yeah.
But you have to trust kung ano sasabihin niya. You have to trust what she's saying because she's already reached that million that we all want to have in life. Yeah, mamaya pag-usapan natin yun. I think you still have time pa naman to dissect a bit more. Uh, yeah. So fast forwarding dito. Let's talk about the bosses siguro.
Okay.
They're really not highlighted as
Mm.
much. But which of the boss, or at least those higher ups dun sa movie na tipong may impact dun sa movie for you? Or at least a bit, alam mo yun, naging interesting in your end when you were watching?
I can't remember the name, but yung nag-interview sa kanya, yung sinamahan niya with
Jay.
sa taxi. What's his name? Jake?
Si Jay yata.
Jake.
Si Jay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yun. Kasi, remember nung um, umattend na siya ng interview with the higher bosses with
Yeah.
his bomber jacket, with the paint in his face. Galing pa siya sa kulungan at that
Yes.
time. Somehow, parang he he represented Chris in front of the panel, in front of the board. Hindi
Mm.
niya, parang ando na, parang tinanong siya, ganito ba siya lagi? Nakikita mo ba na ganyan siya? No, maayos siyang mananwit. And after that interview, tumakbo talaga siya. Sinundan niya papunta ng elevator na parang, I look forward to ganito, ganyan. The interview went well. I don't know kung anong ginawa mo. Mukha kang basurero. Pero na, na, nakuha mo yung attention ng panel. And when Chris mentioned na pag-iisipan ko kasi wala palang salary, I have different priorities right now. Sinabi niya na tawagan mo, kailangan tonight mismo tawagan mo ako
Right.
if you really want to. Andun yung sense of urgency, andun din yung concern with the person. Kasi siguro somehow nakikita niya na that opportunity would bring so much value to Chris' life. And andun yung nakikita niya na Chris has, andun yung he is skilled and he can do the job. So he trusted that
Mm.
person. So yun, he's the siya yung tumatak sa akin. How about you?
Yeah, I think kasi paano ba i-explain to? Most of them didn't really have much of an impact.
Yun.
Most of the pero siguro yung ano, aside from Jay, we all know the most most screen time nasa kanya
Most
pagdating sa
exposed.
bosses. Pero nakakatawa doon, if you could remember the interview, sinabi mo, the interview after he got arrested, got released because of, I think, parking ticket.
The fines, yeah.
Right? Yeah, parking ticket fine. He's negotiating that I can't stay overnight because I need to attend to my dad duties to Jaden and also I have an interview tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. No, you need to stay in here until 9:30 a.m. I even wanted that phone call. I think yun yata yun, napag-negotiate na siya para makuha yung anak niya
Yeah.
with Laura, wife.
Laura.
Sorry. Um, yeah, I think Jay is the most interesting. Pero the higher boss was actually the conversation, the interview was fairly interesting as well. You remember
Yeah.
yung tinanong siya ng, why did you, if I hired someone that came in here without a shirt, how would you react? And sabi ni Chris, man, that guy
Must have had.
could be wearing one hell of pants. Tawa-tawanan. So, yun pa lang ang
Yeah.
nakikita mo. And sorry, Chris has the ability to break rapport with people. It's a very, very important thing. And he has that overwhelming confidence. You know,
Mm.
notice, hindi mo na
I
alam kung kaki yung confidence niya or is it just him naturally. It
yeah.
happened twice in the boardroom. First time yon. First time is the interview. Second time is final day. Final day niya. Which naiyak pa nga siya eh. Dosen. Kaya parang he was just treating the final day as another day but I'm just wearing a suit and shirt. The uh, last time I entered the meeting or the boardroom, I was wearing sabi ni Jay garbage man outfit.
Yeah.
I made presentable the last day and then offered the job. Mamaya konti doon. Malapit naman na matapos yung part na yun. So, yeah, I think siguro yun nga. Both of them yung, pero if you're going to scale it, kung sinong mas conversationalist pagdating sa kanya, it's Jay talaga. Maraming sinabi sa kanya, probably maraming yung tinuro sa kanya at that time. So, doon nakakatawa din yung isa, yung kalbo, yung may kotse.
Mm.
Kasi, um, ano ba nakakatawang part dito? He was asking who already finished the test. Dalawa sila natapos. You remember that scene?
Yeah.
Sabi niya, sabi niya, have you really finished this? Oh, yeah.
Everything.
So, meron pang isa.
The
Nasa
essay.
elevator na sila. Sabi niya, so how was the test rin? Sabi ng kasama niya, it's fairly hard. Sabay, onting dead air. Uh, have you answered the last part or is parang ganun?
The
What
essay
last
part.
part? I mean, what the essay part? Oh, siya, balik siya ngayon.
Baba siya
Balik ko.
ngayon.
Yan. I think that person hindi niya natanggap din kung gano'n. Kasi you already passed it. You passed your, ano na your test paper na.
Yeah, hindi na
Tapos
siya
hindi mo na pwede
pabayaan.
bumalik. Pero here's a
Mm-mm.
trivia pagdating dito. They over dramatized that part of the internship. You go,
Really?
parang if you did a bit of research after, try mo tignan to. Kasi meron nag-breakdown kung ano yung nangyari. How relatable and how accurate it is in real life ni Chris Gardner. Yung part na yon, it was over dramatized. Majority daw ng mga doon nakapasok ng trabaho din sa Dinwiddie. Pero iba yung kay Chris.
Yeah, 1 out of 20.
Parang tinakot lang sila. Parang
They,
ganun yun. Kasi they wanted someone responsible enough for the license. Yun ang sinabi dun sa breakdown. Ganun ko lang kanina. So, that's very amusing most.
mhm.
So, we're going to go forward na because I don't want to have you longer or kung pwede ka pa makapagkwentuhan pag sa movie na to. Just tell me kung kailangan mo nung mag sumibat or something. But yeah, going forward to that, eto na. Just the existential problems that he has with the son, yung mga na-encounter niya. So during the time he was in internship, was also doing a lot of stuff then. Balancing, it's not work-life balance eh. It's just work balance na lang eh. Because he doesn't have any permanent home. Um, yung anak niya kailangan nasa daycare
Daycare.
pa. Which that daycare sucks because number one, sinabi ng anak niya that we're watching lottery or something, pustahan na hindi naman dapat pinapan. And pinaglaban pa nung may-ari ng daycare that the Love Boat, which I'm fully aware of as a Navy show, which isn't a Navy show at all. I'm not sure kung napanood mo yung Love Boat. It's an 80s series. It's more how can I describe this? It's more sitcom. Mature sitcom siya. Na we have a set of people inside a cruise ship. Since story no, nagre-revolve sa kanila. Isipin mo na 80s to, marami pang kalandian na nangyayari ng 80s
Hmm.
pagdating sa
Ah,
writing talaga.
sa
It's
daycare
either,
pinapalabas.
pinapalabas kasi if you know anything about 80s movies, it's more about full-on action or full-on nudity, meron din,
Mhm.
and more on romance. Sa Love Boat, it's more of the two. Walang action masyado, pero more dun sa dalawa. So, isipin mo yun ang pinapakita sa anak mo. Siyempre magagalit ka. That's not normal thing children should be watching. And then nung
Yeah.
reneklamo niya, natawa pa ako if you could remember, ang sinabi ng may-ari ng daycare sa kanya, you keep on, parang nagreklamo but you're paying late. So I'm also going to, parang nagreklamo din sa harapan niya na wala kang pakailam dito. You are off hands because you're paying late. You don't have the right to tell me what to do.
Yeah.
So, ikaw, what strike you the most dito? Kasi maraming a lot of emotional parts dito sa itong part of discussion na to between him and his son going through the daily life. Ano yung pinaka-emotional part nun? I'm guessing siguro yung ano na, yung CR scene, pero there might be something else ba?
Well, few seconds before that scene, yung sabi yung sa machine, he's saying that this is a time machine, but it's not a time machine. Tapos parang lumabas, parang naging creative na si Chris doon na, no, it's actually a time machine. Just have to turn the switch, close your eyes. Tapos doon na, naging parang creative na siya. Ginamit niya na lang yung creativity para kahit pa paano mapa-light yung situation. Pero the reality is, wala silang tutulugan. Then sabi niya, oh, tara sa cave, tara sa cave. Yung cave is the public restroom. So I think that's the parang lowest of the low part na parang may kumakatok, nailak niya yung pinto, tapos umiiyak na siya. So that's a really powerful scene for me.
It's a bit, if I dichotomy pagdating sa ganun, because the son actually used that analogy of time machine from a hippie. Diba? And yung dating sa akin is, it's not really lazy writing. Actually, it's good writing. Kasi nagawa nila yung scenario na tipong sobrang, it's either sobrang stress na ni Chris na sumunod na lang siya, and then naman yung pagpagod ka. Sometimes we're totally tired. Our brain could actually go places na hindi natin alam. Could do something na hindi natin alam na nagagawaan pa na natin or naiisip natin. So, it's a bit of creativity for me. Doon nakakatawa siya na isipin na parang,
Wala na siyang
bata ako,
choice.
ginawa ko ba to? Yung iniisip ko, bata ako, ginawa ko ba to? May part na ganun eh, kasi we talk about dinosaurs and everything.
Yeah.
Me talking about lalaki kasi ako. I'm not sure kung bata ka the dinosaurs yung thing mo. Iniisip ko, ng bata ako, parang ganun din ako eh, parang mahilig ako sa dinosaurs. So that touched a bit then. And the whole inside the CR scene is very emotional. Talaga. So, yun. Besides yung ano pang nag-stand out sa'yo? As far as yung relationship nila, dad and son.
Yung tinanong niya, yung tinanong ng anak, si Chris, kaya ba umalis? Kaya ba tayo iniwanan ni mommy dahil sa atin?
Okay.
Parang for
Oof.
you as a kid na i-blame mo yung sarili mo kahit wala kang ginagawa. Grabe siguro yung pinagdaanan mo na isisisihin mo yung sarili mo. Yun. It's one of those scenes in the movie.
I just like to read this one. Amen. There's doors open for me to guess. So guess if you ever want me to talk about these movies, yeah, definitely Jace. So we'll talk about something soon. And hail to the beautiful Carla. Yep.
Hi, Jace.
We have this something na kapag nagkikita kami online, once na pumasok kami sa YouTube channel, hail, ibig sabihin nun, parang, alam mo yung old school na, oy, I'm here. Hi guys. Yun yung namin, term na hail. So, napopularize na siya sa mga. But yeah, going back to what you're saying, dun sa, yung, parang sinisisi niya yung sarili niya.
Yeah, as a kid, di ba? Parang ilang taong ka ba nun para sisihin mo yung sarili mo. Ganun naka-broken yung family mo. Ganun naka-broken yung dynamic niya sa pamilya mo. Na parang wala ka na ibang makitang factor. Sisihin mo na lang yung sarili mo. And that's really heavy for a kid. And grabe siguro yung trauma pagdaanan mo as a kid pag ganun. And how would you, I don't know,
I
record?
think nag-reflect sa kanya yung yung mga away nila. Napansin mo nung earlier on, nag-aaway sila habang kumakain. Natalo sila habang kumakain. Everything leading up to that. Lalo na yung tinanong niya bakit niya nga, this is paalis na sila dun sa yung tinanggal or in-evict sila dun sa hotel. Sabi, I want to stay inside sa hotel. Parang, doon pa lang iniisip ko, siguro minsan parang naisip na kasalanan ko ba ito dahil ako yung nagiging pabigat eh. Dad has to talk to mom if he needs me to be with him or kailangan kong sunduin na nanay ko. Parang, yun na yung conversation na meron sila.
Oo, parang ang nangyari kasi sa kanya, siguro nakita niya ang sarili niya as a liability kasi lagi siyang
Uy,
pinagpapasahan. Oo, ikaw na yung sumundo dito,
yeah,
ikaw na yung
you
maghatid
do
dito.
this, you do that.
So parang siya, parang ganun ba ako kapabigat sa inyong dalawa, kaya mo ba kami iniwanan? So parang yun na, parang okay, somehow nagko-connect na sa akin kung bakit naisip niya sa'yo.
And
Nakakalungkot
you
lang din.
could see it na parang ano, you, as you said early in the onset of this conversation, you could definitely see who is the better parent between the two.
Mm,
Isipin mo
yeah.
kapag yung nanay niya yung kinausap niya regarding doon. Malamang sasabihin ng nanay niya na, yeah, it was your dad's fault kung bakit kami naghiwalay. You didn't hear that with Chris. Kaya,
Don't ever blame.
mom left because of mom. Yun ang sinabi niya. Don't ever blame yourself. Don't ever think about this, that you're the cause of whatever failed relationship that we have. Very good. And going back a bit, meron din isang scene dito. I'm not sure kung napansin mo. When they were playing basketball.
Oh my gosh, sasabihin ko pa lang siya. Yung don't listen
Okay,
to
sige,
anyone.
ikaw muna. Sige, go ahead.
No, I like that part. Nung parang
Mhm.
nagwa-basketball siya, tapos parang na-discourage siya kasi somehow nasabi ni Chris na I can't find the right words, pero huwag mo pursue yan, hindi ka magaling dyan or something. Tapos parang
Yep.
na-discourage yung kid. And sabi niya, don't ever listen to anyone that you're not good enough. Not even me.
Mhm.
And that's a very powerful very powerful message to say as a dad. Pero very helpful din as a kid na, okay, if I know my capabilities, if I believe in myself, I won't listen to anyone as long as, wala naman akong sinasaktan, tinatapakan ng ibang tao.
Yep.
Yeah. Eh, that's for me.
Actually, so ikaw, you're more leaning to what the kid is actually learning from that experience.
Mhm.
Me, I'm approaching it in a different way.
Very
Kasi,
nice.
if parang yung culmination kasi we've already watched the movies more times siguro than we could actually count, or at least siguro 5 times or more. Now that I have this brain on dissecting stuff, I've pieced everything leading up to that. So you have a failed relationship, you have some things na hindi mo naayos, you have a lot of debt, you have something insurmountable at the time that you yourself don't know if you're going to get out of it, get out of the scenario.
Mm.
So what I'm seeing on that talk, besides that he was teaching his son regarding the responsibilities nga na ganon, and not to let people tell him what he can't or can do. I
Mm.
think he was also talking to himself,
So, mm.
because you're placed into a situation that you're already down talaga. Diba sinabi niya, don't let anyone talk to you na hindi mo kayang gawin yung mga bagay na yon. And during that time, wala na siyang magawa. So he's also talking, mirroring to himself na, I need to remind myself na ganito. Kasi anong nangyari dun, dinemoralize mo yung anak mo eh.
Oo.
And
And
then, parang na-reflect niya po siya, oh nga, no,
mali.
I'm saying something wrong. So there's a problem with me at this point.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to use this opportunity to come to terms to myself and also to my son and apply what's in my mind. So yun yung dating sa akin nun.
Nice point.
Besides,
Kasi,
mm,
sorry. Nice point
yeah,
kasi parang when you, parang look at Chris's character,
yeah.
subconsciously hindi niya kayang sabihin sa anak niya na hindi
Oo,
ka
'di ba?
magaling, hindi mo
Sa
kaya.
kung titignan mo yung itsura niya, kung paano niya
Yeah,
kinakausap yung anak niya,
tulala na
he's
yan.
like he's like talking to another adult eh. Yung
Oo.
dating niya, he's not talking to your son. Usually kasi kapag kakausapin mo yung anak mo, luluhod ka pa lalo na pag ganun kaliit. And then
But I love it.
you have eye level kayong dalawa. Ang dating kasi nun,
Oo
parang
nga.
tinitignan niya yung sarili niya nung bata siya.
Oo.
Ganun yung ano. Actually, I learned this from Peter Sage nung kinausap ko siya. If there's a scenario na if you could actually go back in time and talk to your 5-year-old or 10, 15-year-old self, and what would be the best advice you're going to give that version of you? Parang ganun yung nakita ko doon. Sabi ko. And it's definitely good writing kasi it's hitting a lot of topics or hitting a lot of birds in one stone yung
Mhm.
conversation nila. And the son gets to, kasi ito rin yun kung isipin mo, hindi naman maintindihan ng bata kagad yan eh. That kid won't be able to understand if you could see kasi you're talking to a person na nakaka-demoralize mo lang eh.
Yeah.
So hindi
And
pwede yung tipong you're going to give him good advice right after that kind of shitty things that you said to him. So
right
mas
after
lalo lang
hurting.
confused. Mas lalo siya na-confused. Kung titignan mo yung itsura ni Jaden, ano, okay, mga ganun lang. So mas na-convince ako na he's not just talking to the son, he's talking to himself. Like, talking himself out of it. Na kailangan niyang i-improve yung sarili niya. I need to stand on my own. I need to believe in myself more. Kasi you're placed in a situation na wala ka na eh. Wala ka nang asaan. There's no wall on your back. It's either you or the ledge or whatever pit na yung ano, pag sinipa ka lang, you have no more opportunity. So, yun lang. It's a very powerful scene. Oh, yeah. So, going back again, magiging successful na siya. He already had the deal. Nakuha na niya yung mga deals niya. And then, so much phone calls. Let's go to forward to then we're going to skip a lot of stuff that I don't want to keep you longer kasi we're already reaching 2 hours. Mag-11 na. But yeah, during that successful run na meron siya as a an intern, and despite of him jumping around places na kung saan sila titira, room for rent or something like that, welfare status na meron sila. How hard do you think it was for him uh, to juggle this responsibilities as a parent and also living day to day, and
It's
also alam mo yan yung I have a job na hindi pa hindi pa ako binabayaran.
super heavy. I think, especially as a man, as a husband, as a
Oh yeah.
provider, as a dad, it's also an ego thing na parang saan ako kukuha ng ipapakain ko kung pinapasukan ko yun walang sahod. I could not even imagine kung gaano kahirap for him yung pinagdaanan niya. Hindi niya
Hmm.
alam kung may tutulugan sila ng anak niya. Hindi niya alam kung hindi niya alam at all. Hindi niya na
It's
alam pero
very
he just kept going.
unpredictable.
Yeah, it's super unpredictable. And yun nga, sabi mo kanina, wala ka ng ibang mapagdedependahan eh. Kasi na-exhaust mo na lahat ng nasa
Asawa
iyo.
mo
Wala
ayaw
ka
man
ng
balikan eh.
asawa, wala. Yung kaibigan mo may utang sa'yo,
Oh,
$14, di ka pa
$14.
binayaran.
They pay you simple
Grabe,
$14.
di ba? Parang, it's super hard. Parang being a dad alone and working is already a
Hard enough.
responsibility na mahirap. Paano pa kung wala ka, di ba Maslow's hierarchy of needs? You need to have the
Yeah.
basic one, the physiological needs, clothing, shelter, food. If wala yun, talagang parang very wobbly ng buhay mo as a person. It's super hard. I just couldn't find, I can't imagine myself parang in that position without the basic needs. Parang, ha,
Sakit sa ulo. It's more than just a normal headache. That's one bad day could cost you your life, your not just
everything.
your career, your life, your son's life. Kasi diba, you're going around. You don't even know people na nakakasalamuha you, especially in that kind of welfare status na lipat kayo lipat. Right. And it doesn't even guarantee na ano ka, na ma-employ ka as per script. Na
Oo,
ma-employ ka.
yung uncertainty, mas nakakadagdag siya sa
Kasi mali yung
stress.
sinabi ni Jay sa kanya in the CR. Whatever happens tomorrow, I'd like to say I'm very proud of you.
Mm,
You did great work.
yeah.
So hindi niya alam based on script. He didn't know. So it's a very what this a very relieving thing nakuha na siya. Very, um, even ako, I'm not sure if you felt the same na parang, naalala ko na, even a job interviews, nakuha mo na yung trabaho. So, I think you could relate to that. Yeah. You pass everything, and then, second step is magiging regular ka na sa company.
Mhm.
Probation time mo is already over. Sadly, doon ka pa lang kikita after 6 months. Pero, again, that wasn't accurate. Ang nandun is, kumikita na pala sila, pero it's not
May allowance
enough.
siguro. Yeah.
Allowance lang. So, it's not totally zero. Pagdating sa kitaan nila. So, yeah, it's very good. And this movie is actually very, not just inspirational, it gives you a sense of reality if you're out of touch na. It's a very good movie to watch kapag sa tingin mong mayabang ka na.
Keeps you
Sad to
grounded.
say, yeah, this movie keeps you grounded on how life really is and how hard life could be if everything would be taken from you in just that instant. Ganun yung nangyayari sa kanila eh. It goes beyond just bad investments. Kasi kung bad investments yun, you could still salvage your family. In the end, though sobrang gamit na ni Dominic Toretto tong word na to, family really matters. Then,
Yeah.
dito wala ka na. Chris doesn't have any family anymore, except for the son.
That's true. Pag tinanggal sa'yo lahat ng na-achieve mo,
Yeah.
lilitaw kung ano talaga yung importante sa buhay.
You
And
get to
that's
know
really,
people. You get to know
yeah.
people also when you're down.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've reached the end of the movie. Probably going to discuss this with you kung matagal pa, marami pang pwede. Pero we'd just like to keep it a bit more ano. Pero ikaw, what would be the best things that you learned from this movie?
Ang ganda ng movie. Pero some of the things na I love how, realistic siya. Kasi kahit hindi naman ganun kalalim yung struggles natin or challenges na pinagdaanan, somehow we have our own version of struggles. We have our own versions of challenges. I mean, yung paycheck to paycheck, I think a lot of us experience that. Yung mamumroblema ka kung, shit, saan ako kukuha ng pambabayad ko sa susunod ko na
Yeah.
bills. That is very normal thing na nangyayari ngayon. And it's really nice na parang pinapakita na okay, hindi lang sa'yo nangyayari yun kasi it really happens to a lot of people. And relationships with family and taking risks as well. Kasi, ito pala, one of the most, parang isa sa mga bagay na na-realize ko rin lately and nag-resonate sa akin with the movie is looking for opportunities, asking people, parang be curious as a person. Okay, napansin niya na may taong successful lumalabas sa magandang kotse. Tinanong niya, paano mo na-achieve yung ganyang level of success? And without you being curious, without you having the initiative of asking that person, hindi mo malalaman sa sarili mo na, okay, there's this thing na you can be in a firm, you can be as a firm, you can be a stockbroker. Being curious, I mean, generally curious in life, opens you to a lot of opportunity, widens your knowledge as a person. And doon na papasok na, are you willing to take the risks? Kasi minsan, alam mo na, presented na sa'yo what kind of opportunities yung nandyan. Presented na sa'yo yung mga options. It's just, nasa sa'yo na if you are gonna take that risk, if you're gonna try that. And that's the thing, alam na natin, marami sa atin alam na yung ibang information, natatakot lang mag-take risk kasi there's that fear of uncertainty, there's that fear na hindi ready, pero having clarity na gusto mong mag-succeed sa buhay, having clarity na ayaw mong mag-settle kung nasan ka ngayon, that will push you to grab kung ano yung nandyan. Clarity is really a huge factor of of my life right now kasi kung walang clarity, like siguro tulad ako ni Chris na, sabi mo nga kanina, beating around the bush, just
Oh yeah.
parang living, just to survive, parang gusto lang ma-dispose, pag-break even man lang sa initial investment niya.
Mm.
And without having that clarity na gusto mong mag-improve as a person, you want to have a better life for yourself, for your family, that clarity will help you to seek out information, to help you to reach out to other people. That clarity would help you to be extra courageous in taking risks kahit andun yung fear of uncertainty. Ayan.
Yeah. I totally agree 100% sa mga sinabi. Sorry, medyo bebo ako. Yeah, I think we already discussed a lot.
Yeah.
We already, actually, yung second part nga ng sinasabi ko kanina, yung first part ng usapan natin, yung second part, how do we apply this in real time? We already discussed it along the way. So, again, to the three people watching, thanks for hanging out. If you like to discover a lot more of what we're talking about, you could just replay it a bit and you'll discover Carla and I dissecting, or at least also giving some applications on how reality is compared with the Pursuit of Happyness from Chris Gardner. Siguro for me, there's there's a lot to learn about this movie, a lot to enjoy, but also a lot to be frustrated about. So I'm going to start with the frustrations I have with this. Some of the things that you're going to watch here, if you're going to come from, if you like to be inspired, or at least if you like to be like Chris, you have to come in terms na kung ano yung path na ginawa niya, it won't happen with you.
Mhm.
This is just purely for entertainment and also for inspiration. As bad as it sounds, it sounds very negative, but it's reality. Carla knows this. Not one path. I'm sorry. Not everyone has the same path in life.
Yeah.
Siguro kung gumana sa yung ginawa ni Chris ngayon, swerte mo. Kasi ito yung panahon na sobrang dali na talagang gumawa ng connections. And also that presents a lot of problems. Kasi hindi mo alam kung yung services mo, meron na pala yung taong gusto mo i-reach out. That's one major issue dito sa movie na to. Or at least, not issue, it's a frustration.
Mhm.
If you're coming into it na parang, I want to be like Chris Gardner. So pag ginawa mo na po siya, bigla ka madi-discourage because lahat ng gusto mong i-approach, wala na pala. Meron na rin pala sila. So now, you have to work double time and lower your expectations. And you don't know kung ano mangyayari sa psyche mo nun as far as yung plans was concerned. So now you have to retool, you have to reassess your plan moving forward and not base it on just a movie na nakita mo. It's reality, fortunately. Second thing is, siguro yung nakaka-frustrate din dito is, alam mo yung parang ang perfect nung timeline niya. 'Di ba? Ang perfect ng timeline niya, lahat nag-coincide from the opportunities na present sa kanya. Talking to the CEO, na perfect mo yung exam mo, and then nakuha ka ng company na gusto mo talaga. All at the same time, you have excess baggages on your family, being a single dad, hindi na pwede mangyari yun sa ibang tao talaga. Or at least, suntok sa buwan. 1 in a million, 1 in 1,000 people na ma-achieve yung ganun. Yun yung frustrations ko. Kasi, ang hirap eh. Kung gagawin mo siyang pattern ng gusto mo mangyari sa buhay mo, it's not realistic at all. Swerte si Chris na nangyari sa kanya. And we do know, this is a movie, most of it is already embellished. Just parang to entertain people. What I find good about this movie is you could watch for it for inspiration.
Mhm.
You could, and as you said a while ago, if you want like to be grounded on how reality could strike at any moment, you have to watch this movie again, just to remind yourself. And also yung emphasis on being a good person is one of the biggest themes of this movie. It's being a good person, even with strangers. Except na nandun sa kumuha ng gamit niya. Which na,
Grabe.
kinuha yung mga gamit niya, which is very something. The main theme of the movie actually is not just about making money. It's about being a good person towards everyone. And also developing, yun nga, when you become a kind and also a good person towards everyone, dun nag-open lahat ng opportunities. It's very subtle, subtle in most cases kapag hindi mo pinansin. If you're just going to look at it na parang this is a success story na parang pera lang ang tinitignan mo, you're not going to realize kung gaano ka-well written yung yung character ni Chris. Again, yun. So, does it deserve if you're going to watch it another time or more than once or replayability? Yeah, it does. It is. These are a few of the movies na masasabi ko na pwede mo panoorin pa ulit. Or at
Yeah.
least once in a month. Just a reminder siguro pag down ka. So, yun. For me, ikaw, anong rating mo sa movie na to before we close? Or at least, i-close natin segment na to and then yung yung recommendations na, which is, mo na, yung plugging mo na.
Yeah, rating? Yeah, I wouldn't like watch it naman. I'm not the kind of, hindi ako ma,
Sabihin natin, over 5 stars sila.
over 5. I'd say
Okay.
mga 4 kasi it's the kind of movie that you can watch if you feel like yun nga, if you want to make yourself grounded, if you want to remind yourself, well, hey, may reality na ganito, may mga taong, as in, lowest of the low, may mga taong, grabing pinagdadaanan. It's also a movie of, if you want to be inspired, na parang, hey, there's this person who had it all, nawala lahat, but he bounced back. So it's a movie na yeah, and would remind you to become a better person in case na nawawala ka na out of alignment, na treat people with respect, treat people with intention, genuine intention, and treat people nicely. Kasi at the end of the day, dalawa kayong tao na may basic needs. Dalawa kayong tao na, you know, you- the golden rule.
Mm.
So, yeah,
Treat people the
that's
way that you like them to treat you.
to be, yeah. I
So,
like na
4.
hinighlight mo. Yeah, 4. I like na hinighlight mo yung relationships with people, treating with other people. Kasi with all the things that's going on, the people trying to get out of the rat race, people trying to achieve so many material things in life, they kind of forget to become a good person. They kind
Mm.
of forget to be a kind person. Well, at the end of the day, it's actually what matters. It's how you connect with people. It's how you impact other people. That's really what's important. Tanggalin mo lahat. Ang matitira sa'yo is your relationships with people.
Mm. Good one. So, 4 stars and also a lot of replayabilities over. And I couldn't agree more. Actually, for me, this is 4.5 out of 5 stars. Siguro the remaining point 5 is there are some spots dun na tingin ko hindi na kailangan na linagay na, like, alam mo yun, yung mga plot holes na sinasabi ko kanina. Yun lang. It's not a detriment to the movie. Definitely not.
Mhm.
I would watch the movie again probably sometime next month. Kaya lalo na napanood ko ulit
Grabe.
ngayon. It's very interesting. Very interesting. Ganun ako manood eh. If I need something for inspiration or at least grounded, I like the term sinabi mo, like to be grounded talaga in reality. This is one of the few movies I would recommend. So now we're just going to spend probably 5 more minutes with Carla before we say goodbye. We're going to probably give her recommendations. I was sharing to her a while ago na may kilala akong tao na living beyond his means, and this is this person. I think I already shared this to you before in the post kasi Pinoy sa podcast PH. The guy's name is Dan Pena, Dan S. Pena. He's the $100 million man, I think, at this point. Meron siyang sariling castle and then doon niya ginaganap yung mga mentorship programs niya. No one no one people na pwedeng pumunta doon kagad. You need to give some sort of an amount, parang I think it's around 30,000 euros para
Mhm.
maka-attend ka. And ang pinakamaganda kasing ginagawa niya is he's developing people to be tough as hell. Kasi marami ng tao ngayon na tipong sobrang ano na lang, lambot na nila. Na hindi makapag-take ng criticism, hindi makapag-take ng kahit anong hirap sa buhay. I would recommend you to actually look into him. Kasi I know ikaw, ito yung hilig mo eh. Yung
Yeah.
more finances and everything. You would learn this when this person, hindi ko pa nga alam, baka magbago pa ugali mo eh. Yun yung takot mo doon kasi yung tipong medyo soft. Kapag tinignan mo how he approaches finances and everything, sobrang ano niya. Sobrang
Tough.
heavy-handed niya. Yung tipong, I'm not sure if you know yung staff sergeant or in general. Mas kapag natutulog ka, bakit ka natutulog? Anong ginagawa mo dito? Talagang ginigising niya yung mata mo sa reality na you suck as a person, that's why you're here. And you're not on my position. Parang ganon. Kasi mayaman siya eh. It's like,
$1 billion.
that $1 billion one thing sa kanya. Tinignan mo, parang if you see it in his head, yeah, his content is not really for everyone. But if you like to dive into more hardcore, hardcore stuff
Mm.
pagdating sa ano. Kasi luma, ano siya, he's a very old school person kapag tinignan mo nga yung ano, few. Ayan ito. If you look into his 10 rules nga, keep on going, don't care what others think. Um, don't be an expert. Yan, be tough as nails. Just effing do it. Be a
Mhm.
warrior. Yan, number one na team and everything is leave your comfort zone. And then love what you do, turn your life into a process and seize the opportunity. Yun usually yung mga sinasabi niya, which is true. Ayan pa yan. To be wealthy, one has to add value to others' life. So
Yeah.
how can I successfully add value to someone else's life without trying to impress them or going overboard, without losing my own dignity and self-respect? And ito yung number one na lagi niya sinasabi to everyone.
Just, just effing do it.
Yan. I
Um,
would.
I well, for me, just looking at him right now, the way you presented him, is he still produce more than what he consume? Kasi the kind of transformation na ginagawa niya sa ibang tao, and that parang exclusive membership just to be able to work with him. Kasi I feel like na parang when I work with him, when I invested 30,000 euros, it would literally change my life. And I'm at that point in my life na parang I would give all my money just to learn from someone. Kasi that's the
We
kind
could
with
we'll talk about that later because I have some materials galing sa
oh,
kanya mismo.
wow.
Uh, Pero ito yung number one team niya also, besides just F and do it, is don't be a
Don't
snowflake,
listen.
meaning wag kang wag kang ano sensitive. Wag kang
Yeah.
react negatively kapag wala naman talagang react negatively with. And don't be soft. Kasi life is hard. You have to be tougher than that. Yun yung number one team niya. Another one is this guy, Jason Capital. He's actually a dating coach before.
I'm actually
He's a
following him on Instagram.
really. Kasi ako nakausap ko
Jason.
siya before. Nakausap ko siya one time.
Really?
Kasi he's one of my idols dati. And pagdating sa dating and stuff. Doon siya nagsimula. Doon yung base niya. And then he's also one of Dan Peña's mentees. Doon nagbago yung ano niya. Doon nagbago yung pananaw niya from ginagawa niyang dating. Kasi malaki na yung kita niya eh. Malaki yung mentorship niya pagdating sa yung mga lalaking gusto magpatugo sa kanya. Malaki na yung kita niya doon. And then transform na niya into ayun nga, how to make deeper connections and more money, mga titles sa ganyan. And money in social media, do this once a week to easily grow your network. Doon na talagang nag-iba na yung ano niya, pananaw niya. So, it's
Yeah.
more about giving value to people. Paano kaya yaman? You have to present value towards other people first before
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah, I follow
I,
Jason. And
If you
That's true.
watch his old videos, matatawa ka.
Y-
You
Sige,
watch movies from 2014, hindi to makikita yung something na parang hindi mo ma-imagine that he would be that person connected with any sort of business. Kasi hindi siya businessman. He's more of,
interesting.
actually, he's more of a con man kung tutusin eh. Pero yung ginagawa niya kasi works. So, why not monetize it if it works? Yun yung dating. Yeah. So, ikaw, is there anyone that you follow? Like to share then? If you have your screen share, gusto mo yung screen share yung mga pina-follow mo, you give you the opportunity.
I wouldn't screen share kasi yung screen ko ngayon combination ng work and podcast and
Sige,
everything. So it's super magulo.
super ka.
Um, but one of the people that um I follow, binabasa ko siguro pag kailangan ko ng motivation in life or in business in general, I listen to Gary V.
Gary
Gary
Vaynerchuk.
Vaynerchuk. Yeah,
Yeah, of
I
course.
don't know why, pero I really resonate with Gary V.
Not
Siya
Gary
yung
Valenciano, guys. Gary
no,
Vaynerchuk.
not Gary Vaynerchuk. Hindi tayo kakanta tayo dito, guys.
Pero
Gary
I'm a
Vaynerchuk.
big fan of him. I'm a big fan of Gary V. Both Gary
Diba?
V's.
That's also why I started a podcast. Kasi sabi niya, if you
Yeah,
want
oo,
to
sa
get your
kanya.
message out there, start with a podcast.
Hmm.
Really nice guy. Sino ba? Siya, well, sa Philippines,
You,
meron ba
do you know
akong...
Bedros Cullian? Malamang kilala mo
No.
Bedros.
Sino?
Nakaka-tandem niya si Bedros Cullian yung pangalan. Actually, kaibigan siya ni Gary Vaynerchuk and also ni Jason Capital. A more business. Pakita ko na, sige. Tignan tayo. Uh, he's also a very successful fitness trainer turned businessman. You could follow him in Instagram and marami siyang pinopost on regarding business. And yeah, that was good. Best-selling author, speaker, and also motivational. Pag tinignan mo yan, meron kagad siyang credibility. Meron kagad. Kasi ito, totoo yung ninigay niya. Hindi siya fake na tao. And immigrant siya. I'm not sure kung Iran or Iraq yata, or somewhere there. Tinakas siya ng pamilya niya para lang tumira sa US.
Wow.
So, yung success story niya, totoo talaga. And he has a podcast sometimes with Gary V. So,
Amazing.
I'm going to send you the link siguro after one.
Wow.
So,
Sige, thank you.
siguro yun.
Ngayon naisip ko, meron pala, I don't know if you know the story of Girl Boss, Sofia Amoruso.
No, I don't.
Yeah. So, Sofia Amoruso, she started selling pre-loved clothes siguro sa eBay. Tas it turned out to become a $1 million business na. Ngayon, meron lang Netflix series about her. She launched her best-selling book.
Ano yung
And
Netflix series niyo?
Girl Boss.
Girl Boss? Okay, sige. Alright.
Girl Boss din. Yun. Siguro yung nag-resonate sa akin din yung mga girls na naging parang rags to riches stories. So, the story of, puro may boss, no? Boss babe. Natalie Eldis naman. Employee din before, nag-try with online social media and e-commerce. Yun, those kind of people. So, yeah. Siguro kasi I
Nice.
somehow see my parang version nila ako noon dati na parang
Yeah.
may mga pangarap na gustong ma-achieve. So yun. Love
You always start.
the
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry. Sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, sorry, I was just about to say I love the recommendation about the entrepreneurs. It's the kind of content that I consume na kasi alam ko it would bring value to me. So, yun. Kasi nag-uusapan natin kanina, parang being mindful of what you consume. Parang I can't remember the last time I watched the news or I listened to news kasi it's something I can control. What I can control is what I do with my life every day. How can I improve that? By listening to people who are already successful. Like these people, Jason, Gary V. So yeah.
Oh my God. Matatawa ka pag pinanood may mga lumang content ni Jason. Parang hindi ko nga alam, baka mandiri ka pa nga sa kanya. Is this the same person na pinapakinggan ko ngayon? Kasi he's more of a pick-up artist talaga. Ganun siya. And people are going to him for dating, relationship advice. It's not about money. It's not about business. Meron pa nga siya mga interviews recently with forgot the name, pero yung mga sikat na YouTuber pagdating sa fashion, meron din siya fina-follow ko din yung mga tao yung before. Ngayon hindi na masyado. Outgrow ko na for some reason. But Jason is a very good guy. And gusto ko yung boses niya. Actually, doon ko na-develop yung boses ko. Each and every time na I have all of his programs. Hindi ko tinatanggal. Kasi marami ako natutunan before. Life sa kanya. Relationships nga sa kanya nanggaling mostly. Pero hindi maganda yung, alam mo yung term na pick-up artist ka. Hindi talaga.
Talagang pick-up
Kasi,
artist siya?
yes, yes.
Or hindi siya relationship coach na parang,
Hindi siya relationship
here's what
coach.
you're gonna do if
I
you're
think in a
relationship.
short-term person siya before. Ngayon, naisip mo na parang hindi ganun yung content niya ngayon, di ba? Hindi ganun yung content niya. Like how to hook up with people, with women. Ganun siya
Wait.
ka-blatant before.
Anong kind of content
How
niya
to
before?
hook up. Yan, how to hook up with women. Ganun yung content niya dati.
Okay.
Doon siya
Well,
sumikat talaga.
I
And then
see.
after nun, he had the money to go to the castle and be one of the mentees of Dan Peña. Doon nagbago yung ano niya. Doon nagbago yung pananaw niya. Actually, another person na dapat mo tignan is another Dan, si Dan Locke. Yan,
Oh,
mga
yeah.
yan, magkakilala yung mga yan. Jason and Dan Locke are good friends now. And top mentee ni Dan Peña si Dan Locke. So when you go
Yeah.
to Dan Locke's page, makikita mo doon yung mga lumang videos ni Dan Peña. Yun pala yung dapat sinabi ko kanina. Yung mga lumang lumang interviews, yung lumang yung conventions niya kung saan siya nagsalita for hours and hours. Meron siya doon. Actually, meron ako dito. But yeah, so there's our recommendations. And I just going to put it out here, kung di mo napansin sa movie, nandoon si Chris Gardner sa last frame. Yung last scene na patapos na yung movie. This is Chris Gardner.
Oh, I
Ito yung
didn't
last
know.
part ng movie, di ba? Yung may naglakad na negro na sa likuran niya.
Napansin
Siya
ko
yun.
may naglakad. Di pumasok sa isip
Akala
ko
mo
na it's
extra lang or
actually,
something.
yeah. Wow.
That was Chris. So, it's very
Nice.
fun na, alam mo, parang nare-reflect mo yung sarili mo na in the movie na siya pinagdaanan ko. Not everyone else will be able to do that. Not everyone else will be able to say that. So, yeah, we've reached the last part, and I'm just going to plug Carla's pages here in the Million Peso Podcast with Carla Bolado. So she does content. I'm not sure kung ilang videos and also ang ilang audio files ang pinapost mo in a week. I'm not sure. Kasi minsan hindi ka na-follow. Parang ako kasi parang finalo ko na yung recently, tapos pinakinggan ko. How, in a week or in a month, ilang beses ka naglalagay ng bagong content?
I just recently launched the podcast, I think 6-7 weeks ago. And yung na-maintain ko na level of pag-post is every Saturday, every weekend I post. So, yeah, so tomorrow I'll post another episode where my learning from a serial entrepreneur. So I'm actually talking with someone who has a business for like 20 years. So very interested ako on
Oh, yeah.
how someone builds a very sustainable business. And it's business niya is technology, texting talaga, about text to phones and how he, well, it's very interesting. And it's one of the things why na I enjoy with the podcast, kasi parang dati na takot akong mag-reach out sa mga taong gano'n kasi baka kung ano yung sabihin nila. Tapos ngayon, I really enjoy it. Kasi natututo ako, and along at the same time, I know there are a lot of people who listens as well who natututo din sila. So parang win-win, di ba? Na improve ko yung skills ko, how I talk to people, and may story tayo na feature. So yeah.
Every
Yeah, Sofia Moruso,
Saturdays.
the girl boss.
Every Saturdays, hindi ko mabuksan dito yung
Yeah, it's
yung
okay. It's okay.
Spotify because I'm
Just
using the word.
search the Million Peso podcast on
Yeah.
Spotify.
Okay. Marami kayong matututunan sa kanya. For the foreign people naman dito, I would say that you guys will be able to learn a lot from her and also the guest. Yeah, so it's fun talking to you regarding this movie. And we
Yeah.
didn't. I'm sure you didn't expect this. It would take this long. Kasi ang ganda ng movie talaga.
Honestly, yes, I didn't expect it. Akala ko mga 1 hour lang. Pero I really enjoyed na we had, kahit meron tayong different POVs, point of views, somehow we have also similarities on how we look at, some parts of the movies. And that's what makes it interesting. And then at the end of the day, we agree, parang we both agree about, being a good person. And it's not all about money, treating people with respect. And it's something that I try to push yung message na be a kind person. Kasi, world na medyo, meh, be a person na does something sa mga bagay na you can control. And one thing that you can control is how you treat people, how you build relationship with other people, and how you make an impact to others. Thank you so much, JM, for this opportunity. I
Oh
really
yeah,
enjoyed it.
definitely. I think we should do it again sometime soon. Probably Wolf of Wall Street. Siguro.
Yeah. For a stocks movie, have you watched what movie is it? The Founder.
No,
The
not yet.
Founder. It's about the story of McDonald's. So it's available on Netflix as well. I just parang ni-rewatch ko siya. First na-watch ko siya sa college. And then I rewatched it parang last year. Parang pag kinailangan ko ng parang entrepreneurial push or kick. So I enjoy movies about business. I like, nalala ko tuloy yung Joy, the movie about the mop. I don't know if you're aware of it.
I think yeah. I think I've heard of them all before.
So yeah, yun ako. Hindi ako mahilig talaga to watch a lot of different genres of movies. Pero if it's something that I can, somehow relate to my life, I apply my life. Parang books. Parang I read yung books na magkakatulong sa akin kung nasaan ako ngayon sa buhay. And I recently read this book, what is it? Show Your Work by Austin Kleon. It naging out of topic na naging book na to. Sorry,
Oh
JM.
yeah, it's fine. It's
Pero
fine.
yeah, it's a book about presenting yourself and not being shy to share your story. Kasi a lot of us have our different stories to tell. And ang magandang ginagawa natin ngayon is there's this internet na if you use it wisely, like what you're doing right now, you're putting content na other people may find valuable. And if wala kang ilalabas, other people, may mga, if wala kang ilalabas na content, if wala kang ilalabas sa mundo,
Mm.
parang you're doing a disservice somehow sa mundo kasi you have a story to tell. You are capable of bringing impact to the world. Yun. So, yeah. Sorry.
Actually, I was about to ask, siguro, tanungin ko na yan din, ito na yung patapos na tayo. Ano yung, zoom in na kita, anong final thoughts mo, or at least people manonood nito? Anong final thoughts mo about life itself? Or if they want to be like you to achieve their million?
Honestly, akala ko dati, like, reaching your first million was really impossible thing to do. But removing that, but exposing yourself to stories na it's possible to other people has, is very helpful to change your mindset. And if you want to be successful, pinag-usapan namin kanina, surround yourself to people who are already successful. And if wala ka ng excuse ngayon na hindi mo masurround yung sarili mo sa mga tao na gusto mong maging kasi there's this internet. You can follow them. You can join Facebook groups. You can join communities, Discord, Reddit. There is a lot. And they're just waiting for you to join those kind of communities. Surround yourself with the people. Consume. Mindfully, parang isipin mo mabuti kung ano yung mga kinukonsume mong mga information kasi whatever you consume, it reflects din. Whatever you put inside, that's also what you put outside. So, be mindful of the things that you consume kasi kung puro negative yung i-consume mo, I wouldn't be surprised kung magiging like very negative person ka. Pero if you consume things na parang, that you can control, things na you can improve on, then it's very likely na mapapaisip ka na, okay, there are things in life that I can improve on. There are things in life that I can still be better pa. And yun, the world has so many opportunities, especially right now. We're actually blessed. Yung panahon natin ngayon, there are so many opportunities na hindi present when we're parents are growing up, when our grandparents were growing up. You can start a business with zero. You can present yourself, offer your skill with zero peso in your bank account. All you have to do is take the risk. All you have to do is start. And even if you parang maka-experience ka ng hurdles, or you sa tingin mo hindi mag-work sa yung first thing na na-try mo, either you pivot, or you learn from whatever mistake na nagawa mo and adapt from it and try again. Just try a lot of things and don't quit. That's it. Kasi when you quit, that's the time you fail. Pero when you make a mistake, you're not failing. You're not starting from zero. You're starting from experience. So yeah.
Yeah, very insightful final words there from our guest. Again, I would like to thank Carla for spending 2 hours and a half. Actually, this stream is already an equivalent of one movie kung tutusin. On my end, wala pa akong plano for next week. But then again, I'm more of the
Spontaneous.
spontaneous and also improvisational pagdating sa mga scenes. Kung bigla na ako out of nowhere, meron na ako na-invite. So, I wish everyone well, and I wish you well, Carla, despite
Yeah.
ng upcoming GCQ, ECQ, whatever. Again, enjoy again, guys. Thanks for hanging out with us, and also please enjoy your weekend. And as I always say, stay home if you want to. If you want to go out somewhere, so mag-relax, just go out and enjoy with moderation. Just be safe and take care. Goodbye.
Be safe.